Hey, welcome back to Métropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. It is the 14th of November 2024. It's a Thursday night. I think the soundtrack got a bit messed up. I opened it up and had like all the songs duplicated in 7 times. I'd delete a bunch of them. I think some stuff snuck in there. Anyways, turned out okay. How's everyone doing? It's a Thursday evening. We're going to play some Netrunner tonight. Quitwa, face red smiling live. That's what the emoji translates to. Hope you're feeling a bit better. I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you. I think we're like back up at 90. We're not 100, but definitely way better than it used to be earlier this week. Thanks for checking in. Hopefully you're doing well, huh? Gold Lava, Valentina deck. Also, hello. Hey, how's it going? No, not a Valentina deck. I think we're going to be trying to build some NBN and non-tagging NBN, which I think is impossible. NBN that doesn't care about tags. So we'll figure out if that works out or not. I have a little thesis to talk about NBN and Jinteki. In a weird turn of events, Andre has become a personal evolution fan over the last like month or so. Oh, what a time. Tron, how's it going? Good evening. Evilon, good evening as well. Kill is Mari? No, not that one. That one's also not fair. Like, people don't like that one. Maybe at first, you know what I mean. Eric Hayden, sounding healthy as a horse. 1 horse amount of health. That's a good horse, I hope. Nana was up there. It's getting cold. So she's now in the top tier tower, just hanging out. I think she just heard. She understands the stream's gonna start and she wants her peace and quiet. No QTM got to you. Yo, Loud is such a cool deck. I want to say it again. Loud is the coolest deck. Hey, really quick. Very big announcement. If you're watching this at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're probably not the right audience for this, but I'll put this out because, again, folks don't watch this live all the time. UK Nationals, there's been a venue change. Really, unfortunately, at the Sparks, which we had Ba on the stream a month ago talking about UK Nationals, and it seems like a fantastic event. It was at this like converted, what are they called? We don't have these anymore. It's department stores that became this like really cool social space. Unfortunately, a pipe burst and the venue flooded, which is really quite bad. It happened this week, and their event is in a couple days, which they're expecting about 100+ players come and play Netrunner. So the venue doesn't work anymore. But in a really cool turn of events, Sparks actually helped the folks find a new venue, and they got them a really ridiculous venue called the Ashton Court Mansion in Long Ashton. So firstly, just to show you this has a Wikipedia page because it's an old ass building, a mansion house and estate to the west of Bristol in England. Like, it's a thing. And then if you see the images of what this place looks like inside and out, it is like kind of hilarious. It looks exactly like what you might imagine, like castles, and it looks like this inside. This is where UK Nationals is going to be. Now, I want to say this for 2 reasons. Firstly, it's not in Bristol proper. You have to travel a bit, so just keep that in mind. So luckily, this is on Reddit. Full details about, you know, making some changes to your plans last minute can all be found here. This is an article. It's written up. It's tagged by Cobra Bubbles, Not Yeti, and Harmonbee. So talking about travel, because now you're gonna have to take a bus if you get busing out there. I think it's about a 30-minute bus, and then you have to do about a 10 to 12-minute walk. The building's accessible by wheelchair accessibility, which is great. Otherwise, people will be carpooling. If you want more information specifically, I highly recommend, I don't know if the link is on the bottom of this article, but I have the link for the UK Discord. If you're not on the UK Discord, get into UK Discord. If you have any questions, they can be answered there, and there's more information up there as well. I'll put that in the YouTube description. Food won't be fully served there, unfortunately, because it's pretty far away. They recommend that attendees plan to bring some food. There'll be some snacks, but like not enough to eat. So just watch out. Things are slightly different at last minute. Obviously, this sucks for those who've spent so much time planning, but this looks like it's going to go on just a bit further out of town, which you just have to make sure that that works out for you. The event is still going to be stellar. There's still going to be a live stream, which is fantastic. I was surprised that they still can wrangle a live stream. That'll be streamed on Baramwoo's YouTube channel come Saturday and Sunday. Even maybe tomorrow, Friday, Crown servers. So maybe even as soon as tomorrow, there'll be some stuff up there. I'm subscribed. I'll get the notification. But there's some asks for help. Again, if you're driving out there, you can take some people with you, especially on Saturday. And there is the UK Netrunner Discord, so I'll be in there too. So I'll link this article as well. This will be on the bottom of the YouTube video, but just keep in mind, if you're watching this between now and, well, technically it starts tomorrow, maybe, hopefully you find this as soon as possible, because if you're going to UK Nationals, it's no longer at the originally advertised space. Unfortunately, it can't be there, but it's somewhere maybe more historically relevant, at least to Bristol, which is kind of sick. Yeah, they say you can get there 45 minutes by bus from Bristol Temple Meads train station, and then it's a bit of a walk. It's like a 10 to 12-minute walk up a long driveway. So just so you know, That is a big change to UK Nationals. I'm so bummed that they had huge problems like just days before the event, but glad that everyone's making it work. And even the folks at Spark seem to be helping out, which is kind of sick. Good evening, Mr. Grid Supernaut. How's it going? P love, yeah. One of us QTM got to you, yeah. Nothing more British than an old manor. Yeah, it is like the most old ass British looking manor, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I think that's gonna be cool. I'm excited to see what the stream looks like. I don't think you're gonna see a lot of the building on the stream. Usually you don't, but good luck to everyone out there. That is going to be this weekend. Again, if you're going out there and playing Mad Jealous, if you're just watching online, you'll be with me, at least for parts of it. It's not only is it Not Yeti's birthday, it's my sister's birthday on Saturday, so I'm going to be celebrating for parts of it. So I'll drop in for as much of the stream as I can. Okay, Decklist of the week. Let's get this one out of the way. We've actually done this one before on the stream. This is Ion Fox's Red Planet Couriers deck, 3 Biotic Labor combo deck. We had such a bad time with this deck when we played it. Not that we didn't have fun. Well, let's not finish that sentence. We just had really bad luck playing this deck on stream, and it's not my favorite kind of deck. I'll explain the combo, and you can watch me struggle with this back, 2 weeks ago maybe. But the idea is that we're playing Veil to Last, and we're playing not Hyper Glacier. We're playing a combo deck. Ion Fox, I had the pleasure of meeting for the first time in person at Worlds. He traveled out from Southeast Asia. Really nice to meet him because he's specifically shown up on the stream a fair bit to be a bit of a heel and a bit of a bully and show up with like really strong, really mean decks, some prison stuff, some combo stuff. And he's always been an uphill fight for us, but just the nicest dude, fantastic player as well. And he came in with a bet that nobody at Worlds was playing Clot. Because Clot, for those who don't know, is a card that prevents you from fast advancing, from scoring an agenda on the turn that's installed. And the fact that there is no Clot means you can do some ridiculous stuff. The idea with this deck is step 1 is get, I think, 9 advancement counters is what you want. 9 advancement counters on your ice. And all this ice is advanceable. There's no sentries. There's some code gates, and Whoredom triple advance is really good if it fires. But you just want to get 9 advancement counters on ice with things like wall to wall. And you can do it yourself. You're playing Built Last. You can get some credits. Once you got that, you move on to step 2, which is Biotic Labor to have 4 clicks. You install a Project Atlas on the table, and then you do Red Planet Couriers, which eats your whole turn to move all advancements, all 9 of your advancements at least, to 1 Atlas, and then you score an Atlas that has 6 counters on it. From this point forward, you can win in 2 turns. Because an Atlas with many counters gives you a lot of possibility, it's basically saying you have whatever 6 extra cards you want in your hand whenever you want them. So step 2 is largely just grab the next Atlas and like a Biotic Labor, or generally you want to maybe a Slash and Burn works here too. There's a couple ways to do it and just score out. And then on the following turn, you can fast advance out a 5-3 agenda. All you need to do is you have to pull a couple combo pieces. You need generally 2 fast advance pieces if I'm not mistaken. So either like a Biotic Labor, you need the Basalt Spire, and then you need another Biotic Labor or Slash and Burn. It's going to take me a second how to get there. You want to do Biotic, you have 3 advancements. You do Install, you do Slash and Burn, Audacity. So you need 2 Biotics and 1 of the tricks. So Audacity is really cheap. And that's it. And that's why you need the modicum of 6 advancement counters and a bit of luck. And this thing almost made the top cut. It was just shy of the top 16. I think he had to win his last game. And he played on stream. I don't think the game he played on stream he won, but the combo is relatively simple. Get a lot of counters and use the counters to get the next 5 points just from your hand onto the table in the next 2 turns. Some really cool lines that you can do things like if you have extra counters, you can just do pull a Biotic Labor, play Biotic Labor, hit a Too Big to Fail, and it's technically just +3 credits for a click, which sometimes just is enough, all you need. There are like breakpoints of how much money you need to do all these combos. I think we did combo out successfully on 1 game. So that's fun. Just to show you where I stand, this card is actually one of the cards that I most disliked in the history of Netrunner. And that's because back in the day, we used to have a deck exactly like this. That was a combo deck, but we also used to have really big agendas. We used to have a government takeover. It was a limit 1 per deck, and it was a 6-point agenda. So we had some, unfortunately, very good Netrunner decks that all they did is put a government takeover, hide it in their deck, then pull it when they wanted it or when they could get it, or just draw naturally, and then just score it from hand. Is Netrunner DB down? Something happened. And that was just not a really fun play pattern. For what it's worth, people do and can play this sort of deck in NBN, specifically in... Is Netrunner DB down? Not down, but very slow tonight, apparently. Concord, how's it going? Welcome to stream. Yeah, it looks like it's not loading well, so we might do some deck building just on Jinteki.net. We did a fair bit of that before. Yeah, it looks like it's struggling a bit. Okay, here we go. So this used to be a 9-6 agenda. Okay, so you can just fast advance that. And modernly, people still do this in like Provost, because Provost just gets advancement counters. As long as you get 13 advancement counters, you can just do Biotic Labor, install a Project Beal, Red Planet Couriers, and Provost, and just win the game on the spot. I don't think that's that fun. It's not fun to lose to. It's not fun to do. You're just sitting there kind of waiting for your advancements to come in. Welcome to the club of very few people get my name right. Oh, sorry. Oxycusuno cord. Government take over my beloved. Hey, Recap, the lines described in the write-up are like biotic advance //, which seems to imply that you leave the Spire on the table for a turn. No, yeah, you fast advance it. Everything you do is fast advance. Recap, how's it going? So you just need, 3 fast advance pieces to score at a 5/3. And at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter if you slash and burn and leave your agendas in the archives because there's no next turn, right? So slash and burn is just a credit for 2 advancements, which is pretty good. And you can grab these at instant speed. That's the list. We already have it loaded up into Jinteki.net because we played it before. Our win rate is pretty bad with it. We just had a really bad time. I was told that I iced up central servers too much, that he just kind of pushes in a remote server a bit more aggressively. I think the matchups we were playing, we had some run-based stuff, some aggressive stuff that we couldn't really do it. RPC broke, Psycho B awoke. Hey, Michael, I really don't like, I like Psycho B a bit more. I think that's at least a bit more exciting. I do think there were some changes we were either described to make or even tried on our own. And I think one of the changes that we were considering, and I liked it a fair bit, I don't think we got the change into this list so far, was running a single copy, if not more, multiple copies of, what's it called? What's the one with the monkeys on it? Yo, Jai, how's it going? How was Nationals? We're back in RPC. I know. Yeah, it happened. I didn't even see this one on Netrunner DB. Want me to sweep you again? Well, yeah, but I'll fight. Didn't like what the card did to agenda density? Nobody liked it. Well, people like government takeover, but it did horrible things to agenda densities. This is Pivot. And I think Pivot is a cool card, not so much because it helps you combo, because it doesn't really help you combo. Spending 2 clicks to do any of these actions is not good on your combo turns. But the thing about Pivot is, like, a lot of times, not only do you need to get your 9 advancements, you need to hold the Atlas, you need to hold the Red Planet Couriers, you need to hold the Biotic Labor. And these sort of decks I find very frustrating to play, personally, because you're just in a waiting room. Where, like, you don't have proactive play. You can score your first agenda in the remote server if you really want to, I guess. Scoring an Atlas with 1 counter is worth something in this deck. It's not, like, you shouldn't dismiss that. Because then you can generally set up your combo on the next turn and then just do 1 big combo to win the game. But the idea is that you can just use Pivot as, like, a really slow way to be like, oh, Red Planet Couriers is now in my hand. I'm set up for the next turn. So a card like this, I think, has a fair bit of value in the deck. Just to grab a card. That's what's fine. Got a lot of recordings. I need to learn how to edit. Yo, step 1, get the recording. Step 2, draw the owl. Let me know if you need any help. Was won by the most unhinged 59 card sports. Is it maybe Andre Nielsen? I am kicking myself. I wanted to meet Andre Nielsen in person. He was at Worlds. I've never met Andre Nielsen. All I know is Andre Nielsen is this, like, kind of international super spy of some sort. He's constantly traveling the world, and he is in the ear of a local player, relatively local, Credits at Hotmail. And Credits always shows up with the most unhinged decks, just ridiculous decks. It'd be like, oh, this is my 55 card imp. I don't know, like Isla was one of the options last 2 years ago. World's just like really strange stuff. And I'm always asking Credits, where are you getting this? And his response is Andre Nielsen. And I haven't met the dude. I know he did really well in Startup this year at Worlds. Hey, love. But overall, I just never met the guy. He does some really, really strange stuff. Very weird deck builder, 59 card sports deck. That sounds about right. He's like the Swedish diplomat to Indonesia or something. Yeah. He has some like sort of job that makes him sound exactly like he's a spy, and he has some really good cover, and he just spends his time traveling the world playing card games. I don't know what he does. Andre's an amazing guy. Side note, I caught one of your VODs from a few weeks ago, and he asked about thumbnails and titles for replays. As a very new player, I don't find the names of the players useful. I don't know the names yet. But at the same time, I can just look at the thumbnails to see what IDs are being played. Thanks for great content. Hey, cheers. Yeah, no, that's the feedback I think I expected from the newer, as the newer player experience. I'm glad it lines up on that front, and that you've been liking the content. Thank you for the kind words. International Man of Mystery. Yeah. Just like very interesting meta builds. So he just travels to different countries winning things with off-the-wall decks. It's what it sounds like. And then like feeding his information to Credits, and together they're like unstoppable. Ooh, cool. She's playing a 45 card Seb deck. Hey, best of luck, have fun. All right, Seb can destroy our ice. I've actually been told in this matchup, if you're worried about ice destruction, just don't res your ice. Like, real talk, just don't res ice. Because if you don't res ice, they can't crew your ice. And if they crew your ice, then you don't have ice, which means you lose advancements. So I'm just going to keep this hand because we can start with ice HQ against Hot Pursuit, which is a HQ run that gives credits and a tag. And Seb generally plays the tag cards. And then we want to get a wall-to-wall. We'll cook in their remote server. So we'll probably just do triple install this turn and then call it there. Aaron, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Okay, Alice, we have 2 of our combo pieces. Step 2, find a biotic labor. Step 2.5, get 9 advancements. So we'll ice up our 2 things. We might not be able to res all this ice. I think actually we should put the tree line on the remote server. Because they don't run the remote that much. And this is more annoying on a central. Hot fursuit. I'm very sick. Sorry to hear that. That was my last weekend. Hopefully you're not doing half as bad. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Feeling any better? Or are you like, what part of the bell curve are you on? Guaco, hey, how's it going, Guaco? I know you did a follow on the channel like a week ago. Welcome to the channel. How you doing? Hey, Pat. Shoeflower, wait, if we're both here, who's watching NSG Narrative? Oh, no. How you doing, bud? Pat went out to casuals on Tuesday. Haven't been out to do a Netrunner event in a bit. The like sort of L'Abyss adventures Oda Nuvo's running through seem pretty difficult. We're still struggling to find a spot. I thought I found a really good place. There's like a brasserie down the street and it opens at 4. And I didn't realize that. There's the hot fursuit. Okay. She's just sending it. This is why we iced up HQ. This is exactly the card that we're talking about. And so now we get a res the Aket, which gives us a credit back. We can't advance the tree line, or sorry, we can't res the tree line, but this gives us a credit, and an advancement, which are both things that we want. So we'll just advance the Aket itself, but that's what we're playing around here. This is a very common card in sub decks. It's one of the interactive ways to run and get a tag that puts you forward. I'm hoping I'm at the nadir of the sickness. Okay. Hopefully you're feeling better. We're all rooting for you. I suspect QTM might be playing Hot Pursuit a little more than entirely hell because of the fursuit name. The fursuit name is great. I say Hot Pursuit on stream. People are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you know, it's a good one. Sundog is going to come back while you're gone. Wait, what? Sorry, Eric. I lost you on that one. I'm fine. What about you? I'm trying to learn how to play this game. Hey, if you have any questions, please ask. I'm working on a video series for deck building for this game specifically as the new player experience. I worry the first video is going to be an hour long because there's a lot of fundamentals to talk about. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'm going to try and explain what I'm doing. A lot of these cards are a bit out there. They're not like the cards that you commonly see as a newer player, so please ask. All right, wall to wall. We're going to do the 3 good things on it. We're going to draw a card first. You want to do that first because getting more options means we can choose to return this to our hand. We're going to get any credit. We're going to put an advancement. We actually could consider pushing the Alice behind the tree line and getting an advancement on it, but we just don't really have the credits just yet. So here, I don't think we have to do anything that quickly. I'm just going to put this on R&D and then just advance 2 cards because every time we advance a card without advancements on it, we gain 2 credits. So it's a click for a credit plus. So now we're at 4 advancements. The problem is if we lose this Aket, we don't have the Aket anymore. We lost advancements, but I felt like we really had to stop that hot fursuit from going across. Oh, Sundog's coming back because the narrative team is here. Yeah, but this is specifically the Canadian narrative team. They're pro Sundog. If they're here, no Sundog can come back. How's the evening going? Droids, so far, so good. We're just starting as the deck list of the week. We played this one before. Not my favorite cup of tea. Ion Fox is an absolute charm, but we're going to be building some NBN after this. I love, it's fine. I love ChatGPT in charge. Uh-oh. Oh boy. What's son? Dog? Getting this Aket to 5 strength will make it slightly harder to trash. The card that we're expecting for Seb to trash cards trashes cards of 2 strength or fewer. So 5 is just a fair bit more than that. I found info about pretty much everything about how expansions block works. Oh, what kind of questions do you have about expansion blocks? For what it's worth, things are going to be pretty simple next year. Next year, there's a really big rotation. So if you want to play the standard format, which is the most popular format, we should ice archives if we can. It's just all the null signal games cards. It's that simple. Otherwise, generally cards are in cycles, and a cycle is about 120 cards. And generally, okay, that's good. And we'll advance this to 5. I think I'm okay giving bad publicity. We could just use some money. So we'll just advance this here. and too big to fail. So counter advancements 3, 4, 5, 6. We should have a 7th coming in. And then from this point forward, we just need to get the Spin Doctor to find a Biotic Labor. This is where having a pivot seems pretty good, because if we just pivoted to have a Biotic Labor, we're in a good spot. The first part of the combo also costs 9 credits, because it's Biotic Labor, which is 4, plus Red Plant, which is 5. And then from that point forward, it can get difficult. You need to do math. Standard is the most popular format. That is until I finish turning Internal to the most popular format. Toronto, are you planning one of those like December fun formats? The goofy formats? The AMT format? I generally think there can be a cool Eternal, but it's going to be closer to Throwback than Eternal. I just think it's really hard to make Eternal palatable while also remaining Eternal, right? I'm running the Eternal event for Off Meta Month. There you go. There's dozens of us. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is going to advance the Whoredoms, because if you do face check into a Whoredom, it's pretty bad for you. We actually probably could consider just doing install advance on the Atlas, but then we like trade one combo piece for one combo piece, right? Because an Atlas with a single counter gets us an Atlas, which is not what we want. I recently bought Gateway and have all FFG cards. What is the best energy set to buy first? After you bought Gateway for Asdevil, how's it going? I think the best set to buy first. So generally people would recommend System Update. That is like just cards for everyone, just generalist cards. They're all reprints functionally of FFG cards. Now, that is going to rotate early next year. So if you want to have something for longevity for the sake of playing and organized play, I would not recommend that. If you want to buy a cycle, my favorite next cycle, which I think opens up a lot and gives you a lot of like cool guideposts to do deck building, is the Borealis cycle. It comes with a very, very cool identities, new mechanics. It's really, really great. And I think that adds to System Gateway relatively well. The most modern set is the Liberation Cycle. I think the Liberation Cycle is not my first recommend for the next set. It's still a pretty cool set. There's some really exciting high points into it. I think the Borealis Cycle is my favorite next recommend. Just IA the Atlas and RPC next turn. Yeah, you're right, actually. We can just like go off script. Yeah, we probably just RPC it. I think you're right. There's a chance that she can get it through a 5-strength tree line. But what about a 6-strength tree line? Okay, that's better. So we can add this to hand, or we can't. Server 1, okay. Advance. Somehow the fluidity angle on this like deck is lost to me, that we can just do whatever we want. Pittsburgh is thinking about an FF farewell, all FFG on band event. Oof. I think that can be quite fun. Messed up, but fun. I high-key wish there was a format in between standard and startup. I think next year, like, you're probably not going to need that, but standard becomes a fair bit smaller next year. I hear what you mean. The thing is, like, what you asked me, PMK, and I know I've said this before on the channel, is that standard artificially looks bigger than it is, right? Like, anytime you look at any Netrunner deck, like, let's look at this one really quickly, right? If you look at this deck and you go sort by actions, sort by set, these are the FFG cards, and that's really high for a deck. Usually it's like 3 or 4, and these are all the NSG cards. So when you add all the FFG cards, or like, you know, the last cycles, this doesn't answer your question entirely, because maybe Borealis and Ashes are also like stuff that you don't want to be able to pick up. Like, it's like a handful of cards, and this specifically is a deck that focuses on some weird FFG cards. But most decks are like 80 to 90% NSG cards. My girlfriend keeps wanting me to get to play Eternal with her, but my brain is too smooth for that right now. Sorry? Smooth brain is a term that targets an actual group of people, so use at your own risk. Wait, David. I know people use that term a heck of a lot, but I'm not sure what group that actually targets. All right, Ero's running Archives. This is, in theory, to see a couple cards on top of R&D. Now, she has no way to break this ice, so we'll just res it. Ice and Cathali. Oh, I've never heard of that. Neat. How many expansions will be in standard after the rotation? Let's see. So System Gateway, then the new set Dawn that comes out, and then it'll just be the 3 cycles at that time. So the Ashes cycle, the Borealis cycle, and the Liberation cycle. So 5, if I'm not missing anything. I don't think I'm missing anything. I wish Eternal will capture the classic old Netrunner field. I hope the FFG cube I plan on building after Dawn. Droids, if you want something like that, I think like Classique is your best bet. Like playing some old snapshot type decks. Or some sort of draft format that's really slow. I've seen a trend of people going back and playing old cycles just like Core Set and trying to build interesting decks using new meta knowledge. Like original FFG Core Set, I think people still play that. I think people play like that sort of discovery format and going through and unlocking the meta the same way that people at the time did, where like every once in a while you add a new data pack because cards were released on a very different model back in the day. Talks about trip advance Hordem and they face check a Hordem. Yeah, but one advancement. She's struggling to get any sort of accesses here. I'm not sure what breakers we're expecting. The Mimic is unfortunately the one breaker that does nothing in this matchup, not only because there are no advanceable sentries under 3 strength, but we just don't have any sentries in the deck. Okay, so let's do some gross stuff. This might not be enough advancements, honestly. We're actually 1 advancement short. We might have just wanted to slow roll this. Because 5 advancements is 1 advancement too slow. But I'm pretty sure here on the combo now we can just like do something from hand. We'll see. But in theory, you want a minimum of 6 advancements because that's exactly what you need to score everything out. I understand exactly what you mean. I think there's just something of a divide between people who have been playing since FFG days and people who started playing since NSG took over. What do you mean in terms of divide? In terms of like mentality or skill? I think there's a lot of really, really competitive minded players that are like new blood that are for FFG era. I think if you look at the top 16 of Worlds, you actually can count how many players are like not old heads. And it's like incredibly high. Citation needed. It feels like that at least. Have we talked about an off meta month? The events are up on ABR. Yeah, we talked about it a bit. I snuck it in one news segment really late on. I don't know if they've been public about what the events are. The defining feature is that it's punishing. It's actually not too hard to wrap your head around that many less deck and cards. But the mistakes lead to instant losses, which is tough. I'm hoping to mitigate the downside by putting some clear advice and research together. Oh, about Eternal? The problem with Eternal is like the power level of the format is so high that it ends up with a smaller card pool. I think that's my biggest problem. I think mistakes are punished way harder, but I think it's the power level of the format is just so incredibly high that you actually end up seeing less cards than any other format. All right, she has a crew, so she actually can break HQ open. She exactly has 2 credits, so this is perfect. So this is a really big swing for her. So crew, she has to take a tag here. And then because we lost all our advancements, this is now 2 strength, which means she can take it down. The worst case scenario here, she steals Basalt. If she steals Basalt, I guess we get back, I don't know, then they're too big to fail, but we're going to need an ice for this sooner than later. You draw any piece, you grab the other and save yourself 1 counter. Yeah. The best case scenario would be to draw, like, what do we do from here? Slash and burn with a Spin Doctor on the table over the next turn, I think. So she takes a tag. She finds a Spin Doctor. She gets her 7 credits. BCPR Plus has a higher FFG percentage than either of those. They're up on ABR, okay. All right, so Spin Doctor's 2 to trash. We have a second one, so we're not too gutted no matter how this goes. And now she has 2 tags. We have no way to capitalize on tags, and with Seb, it's a bit harder to trash these resources because Seb has the base text. The only, oh, she sees 2 cards. Oh, she sees 2 Spin Doctors. Okay, now that we're upset about that, now it got bad. I didn't realize she got a Manuel install off of the Hot Pursuit trigger. Off of Seb, that's pretty cool. Okay, things are bad now. I think we just do install advance and say that she can't break an ice. We're already set up against, okay, she lost a Devil Charm, that's good. So if we score the Basalt Spire, we're pretty good. We didn't even have to double advance this. We could have advanced the ice because we can always grab like, I don't know. I don't think we Audacity this hand. Is playing Icy Hot at Etienne's Christmas standard event against the Spirit of Christmas? Yeah, probably. Doesn't the Christmas event have like really cool themed decks? Isn't that what people were doing last year? That's really cool. I think some of the decks from last year's Christmas event with like the poetry and the altars were very, very charming. Each event runner now has the option to put them on ABR, but there will also be an official announcement later. Oh, okay, cool. If she runs HQ, she does get 3 points. A Basalt Spire, when it's stolen, we can grab a card from Archives and add it to her hand. Depending when she accesses it, we can always bring a Spin Doctor back. If she really wants it, she can trash the Spin Doctor. So we're probably more willing to take the cat and just put it back on HQ. But from this point, if this goes through, we're on 4 credits. We win next turn by just grabbing an Atlas and grabbing an Audacity. As long as we have enough cards in hand, which actually she can interact with pretty favorably. She can put us down to no cards in hand if she runs HQ here. You score the old-fashioned, you have the win through the Atlas counters? Yeah, it's going to take us a couple turns. But even if she does that, we just grab as many cards as we can with Atlas and then just Audacity. Having an open HQ is not great if you want to like use Atlas counters aggressively. But I don't know how she's going to pressure HQ here. Most of her, R&D, most of our R&D pressure is now behind a Hordem. Partial card knowledge, partially skill, understanding viable moves in any particular game state. Just the type of things that if you've been putting longer and a bit more intuitive. I hear you, but I promise you that that is not a card pool thing, right? Like, I think you can get as knowledgeable as those folks, even if there's a smaller card pool. And I think the assumption is that if you play a smaller format, the old heads won't interact with your format, and then it'll be like an easier learning ground. And that might be true. I'm pretty much in favor of a much expanded points list. I would also double the size if it was all up to me. All right, we lost the Spire. She didn't trash the wall-to-wall. So it looks like we're gonna get a remote here. So I'm just gonna go for the cat, I think. I don't think we need anything else here. Points list is how I figured out what cards to include. Yes. Back in the day, a really long time ago, FFG had a system in which certain cards, instead of getting banned or restricted, just cost more influence. Even if it was in faction, it would just cost like an influence to pay an Anarch card in an Anarch deck. And it just became the shopping list. Like most of the best decks were like, we're just taking every card on the list and paying, you know. And it's like, unfortunately, that's sometimes what happens. And obviously, the deck is harder to build, but a lot of people treat it like a shopping list. I'm going to play in all or most of the events I'm running. And I'm running an Eternal event that I haven't posted yet because I want to have my resources prepared. All right, she's removing 2 tags. It's scary to float tags against Wayland that has options. All right, so we win next turn. She needs to score 4 points. We can actually... We need no credits to be able to win the game. No, that's not true. We actually need 1 credit. We need 1 credit to win the game. So resing this Hordem, unless the subroutine fires, it's not enough for us. Hey, Esteban, I agree with the card pool size doesn't matter as much because you usually don't think about all the cards that exist. You usually just think about what this card is the opponent deck usually uses. Yes. And the more you play standard, like it's an experience thing. Like I totally am sympathetic. It's really hard. There's a lot of card knowledge, but like I can name every card in the sub deck, even it's kind of the same in standard as it is in startup, but it's people don't play with 90% of the card pool. They play with the good 40%. For NSG, it's actually harder because every NSG set has like 80% of the set, 90% of the play sees consistent or competitive or organized play. Well, in FFG, it's harder. There's way more cards that people don't know the text on because they showed up and never. You go with 0 cards if you pull Too Big to Fail Biotic first. Oh my God, yeah, you can. I was like, I have to play the Biotic first, then to Too Big to Fail. And I'm like, I can't do that unless I'm on 4 credits. But yeah, that's totally backwards. Even if we're on 0, we can do pull Too Big to Fail, play it, pull Biotic, play it, pull Audacity, pull 3-2. It's literally unstoppable. Unless she can steal 4 points in 3 clicks. I was like totally convinced we have to do Biotic, then Too Big to Fail, not Too Big to Fail Biotic. I don't know why. That's so strange. All right, our frog fan, she's thinking. She's drawn up. It's hard for Seb. Seb doesn't have a lot of ways to see extra cards. Like Manuel is the big multi-access card. Some of these lists run like us, Stargate, but it's not like we're going to see a compilation, a legwork, an indexing, a catalog, or a trick shot. Like you can kind of tell how much reach Seb gets. The most explosive thing is generally like Praxis. All right, unfortunately, we're just going to combo out here. We even have Basalt to continue comboing, but we just grab our Atlas. We just grab an Audacity or a Slash and Burn, and then we just do install, advance first, because you get a credit. FA Seb's weakness? Yeah, it's not going to help Seb. Score. GG. A bit of an uninteractive combo deck. At least we put our things on the table. 8 turns could be quite fast, but just scoring from hand. We can score 5-3 from hand, I'm pretty sure, on this board state. Oh yeah. 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 I had a boatload there. You needed to, it's hard to stop. fast advance when I have that many. Thanks for the game, eh? Yeah, so one thing that you want to do watch out is a lot of times installing your icebreakers is very expensive. And if you don't need them, you try not to install them. I'm not sure if our opponent here is a newer player, but just as like an overarching idea is like, I generally don't install my icebreakers. I want to face check first. I want to find out what the ice is first, and then I want to spend the click and 3 credits putting down the mimic. You might feel a bit safer running with these things down because like mimic breaks sentries, and that's true. I think that largely stands for just about every faction, barring Jinteki, which the sentries can be hyper lethal and you can just die if you face check wrong. But a lot of times you want to force the ice reses with your face and then find out what programs you need to install. And then go from there. Textbook, yeah, that wasn't exactly the combo, but like, I don't know. I played that deck enough. I think I'm okay with that. They forgot we were playing Titan. Let's go. Fox tormented me with this deck for like a month before Worlds. How was your matchups into it? I like to make the commitment to make cards playable instead of making more. Yeah. Yeah, like NSG makes more playable cards on average, which I think is really great. I think there's been some criticisms that NSG makes more cards that are like less cards that are like weird playable and more cards that are like competitively viable playable. And I think you have to land somewhere in the middle. I think we do see some really big successes of cards that are like exciting and fun to chase that aren't like probably the best thing to do. NSG does print those. But it's sometimes hard when like the product is like just good stuff, right? Like what's the weirdest interesting shaper card we've seen in the last little while? That's not just like, oh, that's a really good shaper card. I guess we have seen things like Umbrella and stuff like that, but yeah, nobody wants to play that. The last matchup is like, does your trick shot connect? And that's about it. Oh, well, there you go. This is like weird, but also just kind of weird. The face checking is also a know your opponent deck type. There are decks you don't want to face check, but in the case of Wayland, face checking is not that bad since there's a good chance of the barrier. The thing is like the Wayland face checks, the bad things are they trash programs. Right, like all the Wayland sentries that do something bad to you just trash your programs. So in fact, the worst thing you can do is actually install your programs, then face check, because then you have to pay money to protect your programs, or they do nothing, right? Jinteki is the really bad one. Arguably, HB, you can click through a Brawn. Obviously, like Drafter is kind of rough for you, but like face tanking a Drafter often doesn't lose you the game, especially in the early game when this is less likely to be the most impactful res, or it doesn't matter on turn 1 is all I'm trying to say. But like NBN, yeah, NBN, face checking to NBN sucks, but like NBN's kind of messed up. Yeah. Okay. I agree with y'all. It's so much about the size of the card pool as familiar with the cards. Yeah. PMK, I hear you. I hear you. It's much easier to learn a smaller card pool. For sure it is. Oh, you can definitely just limit yourself, like for real. One of the easiest ways I think to compartmentalize is that is like either pick a faction and work on that faction alone and then learn all of its cards and then only learn about the stuff you're playing against. I think that's a pretty common thing to be like, I'm going to play HB for the next month and like really work on something and learn the card pool. That helps. You can also just like artificially say like, I'm not going to play cards from the Boreal cycle until I learn the Ashes cycle and go from there. And like, that's fine too. In the words of Sokka, face check HB if they don't turn 1 hedge fund. Yeah, almost always. I almost always face check HB. Again, as a newer player, face check ice. Gotta face check ice. Let's go back to the original thing you said that once the next set comes out, it'll be less of an issue. Yeah, it'll be a lot easier. I agree when this format gets smaller. I like cards that are competitively playable, but only in really weird decks like Q-Loop. I think some designs like Palace Cafe aimed at the right direction are just missed by a support card pool. Yeah, I think Q-Loop's like one of the best ones where like people are so like love Q-Loop. I think Q-Loop is a tier 1 card potentially, but like the sort of restrictions you make around it obviously are a bit more severe, but it's fun, it's flexible, it's creative, it's exciting, and allows you to do a lot of kickflips that people like. Now, Palace Cafe specifically has missed the mark. But to understand Palace Cafe, you have to understand that Oga's Lost Geek's been playing for a long time. And so the idea here with Palace Cafe was basically, hey, can you print a balanced version of Personal Workshop? Because this is basically what this card was, with somehow less text, but more text on it. And this card was straight up broken, like just kind of busted. Allows you to do some really messed up stuff. You just click stuff on this hardware programs, and then once per turn a credit comes off of it, and then when it has no credits, you just play the thing for free. But you can just take credits off of it whenever you want. So the big combo was every boring Shaper deck would just put all their programs on the workshop, or Noise would do this with viruses, and then just play a run event like a trick shot. Or back then we had 9 credit trick shot that only saw 1 card and gave you core damage, but was still the most busted card in the whole game. And then just installed 9 credits of stuff for free while making a free run, right? And then you don't install things until you hit the ice, right? Like that's the beauty of Palace Cafe, if it was good, or Personal Workshop, is you put your stuff on the workshop and then you only take it off when you need it. The exact same sort of thing that we're talking about. Don't pre-install your programs, put them on the workshop. And then if you face check into a terrible drafter, you can put your Mimic on it for 2 credits. And this is the idea, that they wanted to make a Personal Workshop, but the numbers were slightly off. For what it's worth, there's a whole bunch of cards in most sets that the numbers are slightly off. We were playing Nihilist on Tuesday. We had such a fun time with this. And I've actually been thinking about it. Say that Nihilist was just a program that said, when you install a virus, put a power counter on this, remove a power counter, the corp trash is the top card of R&D. If that was the only text on this and it didn't allow you to draw, how much would that card cost? Considering Augustina costs 1, what would be fair market price for the corp just trash the top card of R&D every turn? Obviously, because they have a choice in this, it's like kind of the worst of both worlds, because if it matters, they'll give you card draw. Maybe you're happy about that. But for 4 credits, Nihilist has always been like too much, and this still kind of is. But when it's good, it's good. Damn. Also come play RAM on December 15th. Is that random access? That's like the, here are the 4 packs or whatever. I usually focus 1 corp and 1 runner every rotation. Perfect. Last time I face checked ice, I planned into Saisenton turn 1, click 1, and stole Fuji as a retrieval and died. This was CU a few weeks ago. Concord, thank you for baiting me into exactly what I want to talk about. Saisenton is messed up, and I don't think Saisenton should exist in Netrunner. This is just me talking, but Saisenton, I think, fundamentally goes against Null Signal Games' design ethos. This is an early NSG card, but a face check on turn 1 should not flatline you. You actually might notice every single NSG, every other Jinteki Ice in the format, the most damage they can do to use 3 net damage. It's designed so no face check when you have 4 cards in hand should flatline you. Every card in the format doesn't flatline you if you have 3 cards in hand, and for some reason this one can. I don't understand it. I don't think it's healthy. I think it's a really bad thing to exist in the game, because people face check into stuff and just die, and that's just not good. Like, that doesn't make anyone happy. Now, when it comes to accessing cards, if you go through Saisenton and you have no cards in hand, that now becomes you shouldn't access. Because probably if they're playing Saisenton, they're playing other cards in their deck that can hurt you. So you can always jack out. And I think that's probably how you're going to learn. If you're touching a personal evolution deck, heaven forbid, that says if you steal an agenda, you'll take a net damage, just jack out. Just the bad thing happened, just lick your wounds, walk away. But 100% I'm on the ban Saisenton train, even though it's not a problem. It just shouldn't exist. Bring back Komainu, way cooler design. Yes. Again, a lot of these cards exist to be echoes of older cards, and Saisenton is an echo of Komainu. And Komainu gains subroutines equal to the cards in your hand, and so Komainu could have 5 net damage subroutines on turn 1 if you face checked into it. That was terrible, but it also couldn't kill you. We used to see a lot of traps like this back in the day. This one, Komainu, I really liked. You could flatline if they had like a House of Knives token. The other big one was like Psychic Field, and I think this one's a bit egregious. There's actually a reason why checking like unadvanced cards is really scary. Psychic Field was an ambush that you played a side game, and if you lost it, which you do 2 out of 3 times, you lose your whole hand. It doesn't flatline you, but it sets you up to be flatlined by just about everything else. So you have to be really careful. At the end of the day, having a single card take 5 cards out of your hand, that's unfair, but at least this, like, I don't know, you can do something about it. Rip Engram Flesh. Yeah, Engram Flesh is just like its own problem. The numbers on there are just too good. Yeah, random pack 2 hours before the tournament. Yeah, I've never played a RAM event, but I remember watching a couple of them back in the day. I'm trying to focus on Jinteki for now and try to gain some sense by just playing different matchups. Yeah, the more you play, the more you learn. I think some of the harder things to get over in Netrunner or to like figure out are like some of the weird things that might not be intuitive to be like, actually, this is the best practice if you do this instead, and that can help you. But simply win the side game. So the worst case is that there were decks for a while that would like put a Psychic Field on the table, on top of just a card that did another damage, like a Hokusai Grid or something that did 1 meat damage. And so if the runner accessed them in the wrong order, hit the Psychic Field first, then lost the side game, and then touched the, like, I think Prisec was the most common one, they just flatlined. You can just run a remote server with 2 cards in it, and as long as you hit the first card 50% of the time, and then you lose the 60% of the time, you always died. It was technically competitive. Saisenton is unironically one of the worst designed dice. I really don't like it. Max 3 net, Sato Bathing to Nemini and Ob begs to differ. Yeah, but that's like nonsense. Like, you're doing stuff, right? Like, it's a 3-card combo. No single face check should kill you like that. Net damage and brain damage are the same? No. Brain damage and core damage are the same. Core damage is just brain damage. It's been renamed by Null Signal Games as of the Borealis cycle. It's functionally identical, and so you'll see a lot of cards that do core damage back in the day. So like Cerebral Overwriter says, notice how this says that has to do X core. Oh, they have the remastered version, but the original printing of this says, what's a good example that we can see the NSG? No, I guess no NSG cards say core damage on them and brain damage anymore. But it's just they renamed it about a year and a half ago. It's functionally entirely the same. Net damage and meat damage are non-permanent. Core is permanent. Cortex Lock shout out. Cortex Lock like didn't often flatline you. Cortex Lock was still messed up. And there's something cool in Cortex Lock. Like ice that scales down, it's like kind of weird. But they had a problem with Cortex Lock because people installed their console and ran and died. And for 2 credits, that's too much. Like this on average does 4 net damage for 2 credits. Like obviously that's messed up. This was never banned. Did I join in time for the weekly size of 10 rant? I didn't start it, Pouch. Somebody else mentioned as a new player they were struggling against it, and I just want to say, yeah, and rightfully so. How's it going, by the way? How's it nice? Command was fun, but it got annoying. Got you? Yes. I've died to it once before. I think Inazuma has killed me once before. Inazuma House of Knives Kumainu. There's some like weird combos that can get you. I think I've died to Inazuma Kumainu House of Knives at a regional where it really mattered. As brainstorming decks for Council's format for off-mana and Sisyphus Kumainu was something I considered. Yo, I gotta see the bad thing happen in real time. Council posted another deck, which you're stoked about. It's a Persephone deck. It did well at a GNK. And then only in the comments do you find out Palangi Persephone doesn't work. I ran into this exact same problem during a stream before. We're like, we're going to make a Persephone deck. We're going to use Palangi to make it a Sentry. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I think Council played a whole tournament with that, which is a bummer. But this interaction of a very strange card just does not work, unfortunately. Just teasing, I actually agree. I'm doing okay. How are you? I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. We were sick last week. We're doing a lot better. Brainstorm got me once in a draft. Yeah. Enjoy the Nova and Pair experience. Brainstorm is a very fair ice and I miss it. How's it going, D? Yeah, no. Nope. Not for me. I don't know. Not for me. This is a weird one. This is a Mumbad card? The heck? Armored servers Kamainu into a price hike. Armored is you can't jack out or you take a damage to jack out? Why it doesn't work? Good question. So why it doesn't work? So Palangi says, choose an ice. The ice you are encountering gains that subtype for the remainder of this encounter. So the idea is that if we hit an ice, we can make it a sentry for the encounter. Persephone says whenever you pass a sentry after encountering it, and the problem is once you pass the ice, it's no longer during the encounter. So if you prolong it into a sentry, it loses its sentry status when this ability is resolving. It's super, super subtle. But when you're after you pass the sentry, it's no longer a sentry. And so this doesn't fire. So Persephone still works, but the idea is you can't just make things sentries on demand, which is what this deck really needs. Now, the only other way to do it is with Egret. The problem is Egret's hella clumsy because you have to pre-install it and only on a rezzed piece of ice. So not only does it add like 1 roadblock, it adds like 2 roadblocks. It's really, really difficult. It's way worse than just having a Palangi you can use whenever you want. It is unintuitive. I don't think it's people's favorite ruling, but that's the big thing is whenever you pass a sentry, the pass is no longer in the encounter, and this only lasts for the encounter. Arsana Egret Persephone, yes, people have been doing that deck. It's probably a bit consistenter than this. It was so much fun to win a game with 0 hand size. I think we got that on Tuesday. Yeah, on Tuesday we won a game with 0 hand size. It's good. Someone Persephone Eula at the last GNK I went to, Shaman doesn't work? Yeah, it doesn't work. Now, yeah, no, it just doesn't work. It sucks. My win rate with face checking Brainstorm is 100%. Make it that way you will. For me, for what it's worth, too, yes. I don't think I've lost to Brainstorm, but it's like I just don't like it. I don't know. Part of Netrunner that doesn't do it for me. It's like, I don't think Netrunner is cool when the ice is more expensive and does terrible shit to you. I don't know. Like, I think when I started the game, it's like, oh, big ice, that's so cool. I want to have big, mean ice. But at the end of the day, like, big ice that does awful stuff to you. Like, if this subroutine is resolved for some reason, I don't think the game's more fun. People just play more cautiously. Like, you're just incentivizing people to sit back and play, like, install Euro board game. The subroutines on ice should be relevant. They shouldn't be game losing. Batty next gold is such coin flip Netrunner. Yeah, it was just like not good Netrunner if you ask me. Persephone's 2MU? Yeah, it's 2MU. It is. What is this card? It's a cool card. Taking the train to Bedfordshire. Bedfordshire? Bedfordshire. Good night. Aaron, feel better, huh? Hopefully you're feeling better. Like when I get play against PE on JNet casual and they mitosis turn 1, I often run on 1 and hope it's cerebral just so I can feel something at all. D, you're looking for that weekly F-line sesh. It's good. When you get to that space at the end, oh, it feels really nice when you get there. Coming back is important though. Brainstorm would almost feel better if it just won the game on fire. No, it's cool to see your opponent be like, okay, I'll still win. And then realize X is always won because all next are trash. /J. I like big guys. It's interesting. Snake, Fairchild, and Anansi all come to mind. Anansi is interesting. I'll give you that. Snake, I don't know. Fairchild, no, but that's because Fairchild's structured really poorly. End the run is the answer. You just end, like, it doesn't face check. Paying 9 for no face check is like pretty rough. D, we may need to talk about your dopamine desensitization. Brainstorm used to make me feel that. It's something I noticed early on that I think is weird. There's not a lot of powerful ice that have an end the run subroutine for some reason. There's lots. You think? I think some of the best big end the run stuff is actually in System Gateway. Brawn is a messed up ice for 6 credits. What? And then Pharos, which heaven forbid advanceable ice exists, at 5 strength or 10 strength is very good. People can deal with a 10 strength Pharos consistently. It's really, really hard. But like we had goofier, bigger stuff back in the day. Like we had Curtain Wall, which was already 10 strength. If it was the outermost. This card was only good in one deck that could specifically interact with this favorably. But also, I do think we had more tools. That's not true. We have about an equal amount of tools to do with big stuff. Just kidding. In the game. There's nothing worth more dopamine than wrecking Cthulhu on JNet. Curtain Wall and Joys Rise Up. But no, Concord, I think there's a fair bit of end the run stuff. It's just like extremes of 14 cost ice. For what it's worth, for those who are new to the game, we're in the middle of a process called a bit of an ice thaw, where ice through the end of the FFG era kind of got a bit out of line, where we started seeing ice that was just like too messed up. Where like, again, face checking doesn't make sense when for 8 credits they can res a drafter, which a DNA tracker that does 3 damage and you lose 6 credits. Like it's really hard for that to be a problem. How do you break this stuff? It's 6 strength 3 subroutines. Like the numbers on this are just really too good. And so we get a lot of cards that are like reprints of these cards, but are toned down. Now, not that a teeny sees a lot of play, but a teeny is meant to be like a rebalanced version of DNA Tracker that's meant to be a bit more palatable. And overall, yeah, I think that's good for the game. However, we're still in weird spots where we still have some really, really good cheap ice. I think a lot of the cheap ice in the game is a bit more interesting. Yeah. If you Zato next gold, how many programs does it trash? 1 less. What's your opinion on Nisei? Like Null Signal Games? They're amazing. They're really great. They've been putting out Netrunner stuff for longer than FFG at this point. Overall, their sets are fantastic. Their like organized play stuff has been incredible. The way that they're like run by volunteers that put all this great stuff out there is really damn good. I think for an organization made of volunteers, right? Some with literally no experience in the fields that they're volunteering in, it's absolutely fantastic. I think a lot of the NSG metas that I've been are by far better than most of the FFG metas I've been in. I think NSG does such an incredible job. I recently played it against the Zatu Surveyor, where I learned it. Oh, X0, huh? Now we want your opinion? NSG does incredible stuff. I think System Gateway on its own is like one of the best card game starter sets I've ever seen. No joke. It is just something else. Message retracted. But no, NSG is great. I think if you're getting to Netrunner now, it's actually in a lot of ways so much easier. Because System Gateway is so good. I would like to say the only issue that NSG has the lack of tokens, but I think they're fixing that. Yeah, I think they are fixing that. I know they were like trying to work with people or sell tokens or something. Like I'm not sure how it works. I know that they're selling like neon static credit chips at like conventions and stuff like that. I think that's a hard thing to fix, but at the end of the day, like accessibility to this game is also such a great thing that NSG is doing. Fun fact, Nisei Division is the worst idea on Trash or Busto. The fuck? Really? Hey, this is public NSG news, but it hasn't been posted anywhere from my understanding. Do you know NSG is coming out with learn to play decks? Like small learn to play decks that they will have at conventions or you can order for like $1 that are just basically like pre-made decks that you don't shuffle, that are meant to sit down for conventions or at your local game store, that basically coach people through the first 3 or 4 turns of the game. Kind of like System Gateway, but again, you can buy for $1. That's incredible. That's so cool. They were talking about that. I think that, I don't know if they were showing them off at Worlds, but they were like doing learn to play events and saying like, this is something that's coming up. I don't know which team is working on it. But yeah, gotta help Drew at Worlds. Yeah, Deadman knows. Yeah, Drew was talking about these at Worlds, but they should be pre-made. Don't shuffle. Just give them to people, and you basically draw the cards in the order, and it'll have a script. The script will be like, in your hand, you have a copy of this. And I think the scripting, from my understanding, actually has like situations where you run through a tithe and it does a net damage. But exactly at that point in the game, you're holding 2 cards that are the same. So no matter what the outcome of the net damage is, the game continues on script. Like some really funny stuff to like make it, you know, exciting. But it's sick. It's like super, super sick. Anyways, yeah. Really, really cool. Yo, hey, Jello Shots. I don't think they'll be for sale. The intention is to send them to anyone learning run to play events. Yes. Yeah. This is not a retail product, but it's the sort of thing that if you're running these sort of things, they should be accessible for like not a lot, but they're not meant to be like a store product. But it's a great idea. It's really, really good. I think it's sick. Yeah, stores should have them, is the point. I know for Flesh and Blood, they had this back in the day and they become hard to find, but they would have like a learn to play Ira deck, which was like, here's a 30 card blitz deck that we'll give to anyone, because if you pick this up and you learn to play Flesh and Blood and you like it, you'll probably come back. And I think that Lost Leader is generally worth it. When resolving a sub with Zato, how are the values of X on cards like Survey calculated? The ability determines the value of X is no longer active, so X is equal to 0 by default. Wait, even if it's like, what? Even if it's like an Ashigaru or like a IQ or something, it just goes to 0? Oh, I guess there's no X on IQ. Okay, never mind. Should Def come with a card to tell you what order to put it back together? Oh, it definitely does. I've no doubt the last card tells you how to put it back in order, or they'll have a PDF somewhere. But then there'll also be a card to be like, this is a link to go buy System Gateway. Enjoy it. All right, let's do some deck building. Oh, actually, weird thing that happened. Let's talk about this a bit, because we've been seeing this on NetRunnerDB, and I think it's just worth looking at because it's really, really strange. Concord, I'll come back to your question in a second, because it's a good question. I just want to get through this really quickly because it's not gonna take long. I get updates when someone comments in a deck I posted, and I got one. I got an email. It says someone's commenting on Tech Tree, which is a deck I published in February 7th, 2024. Like, this is an old deck, right? And I got this post here at the bottom from Donald Bears. It says, you will never feel bored and you'll definitely Slice Master. Want to come back to hunt for more points and unlock interesting features. No surprise, Donald Bears' account is exactly as old as this comment, which is today. So we're not surprised. We haven't seen it. We've seen this before, that people are making comments not only on new deck lists, on old deck lists, and then there's a link that's spamming. Again, we saw people make deck lists and they existed to spam links. And in fact, on the front page, we have it again. This crypto deck is an MT deck, which is banned in standard, and it just is from an account. I'm very lucky to have found this site where I have the essential tips for investing in DeFi. This site and its services, and it goes on and on. Now, this list I thought was like kind of interesting. It turns out actually it's not an original list. It says it's a duplicate. I'm not sure whether that was, I think that's because it used the duplicate feature, but this is someone else's actual deck that somebody posted, Sorta Evil posted back in February of 2019. And there's more spam on here. Hello. As for me, there is no better site to play online slot machines. This is the same person. And this is not their first deck list. They actually have a second published deck list that came earlier, 7 days ago, called My Personal Deck. And this deck actually kind of looks pretty sick. And turns out it's a copy of someone Hermes Kit deck. This is not only someone, this is Ghost Meets Hermes Kit deck. And this is just a copy of it. Hi, I've been using the site for a long time. BZ Movers. Anyways, I know No Signal Games moderates or maintains, I think the term is on the bottom page, NetRunnerDB. It's getting worse. It's not getting better. I think people are realizing, and by people I mean the robots are realizing, yeah, it's strange. It's getting strange. Anyways, I'm glad the spam account is internally consistent. It's super consistent, but I just don't know, like, obviously this is just the robot goes and does it, but like the return on investment on this is definitely not worth whatever money they're putting into it. Anyways, it's weird. Watch out there. Don't click on any links. Sometimes you see this and you're like, you don't know if these are legal. Oh, these are real. This is someone running a noise deck, but crypto deck was just too strange on the Mitzi. Like, make you solve a chess puzzle to comment. How long until we make bots? Well, I just think to register, there needs to be some, I don't think there's CAPTCHA to register an NetRunnerDB account. I think we might need some amount of CAPTCHA or something. Strange. If we have a purge tournament, I'm definitely playing Slot Machine. Would like to unlock more interesting features on World Triari, but just for, hey, Stweed, y'all can ping me on GLC and I'll remove and purge those accounts. Oh, thank you. That's good to know. You can ping Stweed on GLC. That's really, really cool. Thank you. I was thinking of this server rule, but forgot part and separate. Okay, Concord, any tips on trying to find more people to play on paper? My LGS is pretty small and frequently has to make room for other tournaments and going on for other games. Yes, firstly, get on Green Level Clearance Discord. If you don't know what that is, it is like the biggest Netrunner Discord. It's specifically targeted at newer players, but has a lot of players of all skill levels. Once you get into the Green Level Clearance Discord, you can get there. I think it's just discord.gg/GLC, Green Level Clearance, which is a reference to an old Netrunner card, green being for a newer player. There's a lot of like fine players in my area, and you can ping people, be like, anybody playing in this region, and then you'll find some people who are probably in a similar way as you. Now, if you can't find people that way, or check Facebook as well. I think there's Facebook groups. I'm not on Facebook. I don't know how it works. You can often, like, one of the things I think is the easiest is to put up a flyer. Ask your game store if you can put a flyer being like, hey, I'm a Netrunner player looking to teach Netrunner, looking to play Netrunner, and then throw an email address or something there, or a QR code, or however the internet works. And then you can generally get some sort of response. And as long as you have 2 people, you have a meta. And if you can agree to show up at the game store or at someone's house or whatever in a public place, you can start playing. And I actually think it's kind of important to go out to a local game store to play, to other people to see, oh, that's Netrunner, I've heard about it. Is it good? And it'd be like, yeah, I brought System Gateway, learned to play decks, and then you can start being a thing like that. I think it's a bit tricky. If your LGS is pretty small and frequently has to make room for other tournaments, we're running into that problem right now in Montreal, which has some of the most game stores per capita. It's a tricky thing for sure. I think in the next year, more stores are actually going to be stocking Netrunner. I think next year you're going to see more of a rollout once NSG's distanced themselves a bit more from FFG. I think that is something keeping NSG back from having their stuff in stores, which you do see that from time to time. I know at 401 Games in Toronto, all the NSG product is there, and it's sick, and it brings a lot of people into the game. So I think having stock in store is going to help stores incentivize them to have, people showing up. But a lot of stores are just happy that you're there. Whether they charge, $5 to sit at their tables, some places do that. If that's the case, so be it. But just having people in the space and like, if you're there, you're buying sleeves and board games, like a lot of people, it's fine. Like if you just need a table, 4 chairs, a lot of places have no problem. Be like, you can show up on a Wednesday night and play some Netrunner. Once you're organizing a tournament and there's like dozens of people, like at that point you have to work out a Saturday and do some scheduling. But just reach out to your store, and specifically you can even tell them like, hey, if you have any questions about Netrunner, you can ask me. If you have any other people who come about Netrunner, give them my email and stuff like that. Like that stuff works. It's a bit of legwork for sure, but start with GLC and ask around. To comment, please mark all images of busted shaper cards. Fazerum's in there. FFG hasn't had a lot of products stand the test of time. I don't agree with that. Bill, what do you mean? Yo, Wendigon, how's it going? Make it easy for now the bots don't know Netrunner. I have a feeling regionals will help too. Large enough tournaments being run in stores may attract people. Yeah, in the near future, the organized play track of No Signal Games next year is going to be a bit more robust. I think it's worth knowing that in-person organized play is on the uptick when it comes to No Signal Games Netrunner. Back in the Fantasy Flight games, it was really big and then tapered down. And here we're seeing the opposite. It was okay big, and then we had lockdown and pandemic, and now it's actually getting bigger. So we're seeing more and more organized play events, more turnout, and it's just getting bigger everywhere. So a lot of places where like it seemed unattainable, it's going to be more attainable. There's going to be a lot of instances where maybe if you live like, I don't know, I'm a Canadian around here, come in 3 months, there's going to be like 3 or 4 different regionals or whatever they're actually called now. I don't know the names, that I can drive an hour or 2 hours with some friends to. And that will be like a really fun thing to do, as much as we're going to be running one locally as well. Hopefully we put our bid in. The Bay Area Netrunner scene has had a huge shot in the arm after Worlds. So many new players showing up. Yo, they're all going out there to get their Indian and Irish food. But Worlds does that. I've heard that too from Toronto. I've heard that from, if you have your Worlds in the city, it just brings so many people out. And like UK Game Expo, like just having an event where people can publicly see, oh, Netrunner's still a thing. Like going to a Game Expo and then be like, yeah, here's a system gateway. Here's like an email address. Here's our Discord server. It just like brings so many people in because people want to play Netrunner, because everyone's heard Netrunner is like the coolest thing. The problem is like getting to the game is a bit hard. The game is tricky, and people don't know people play it, right? Thanks, it helps a lot. I've been taking a friend to play every now and then, and so far I've 1 or 2 people notice and recognize the game, but so far no biters for regular meetups yet. Someone else told me they printed out and laminated some system gateway decks and donated them to the LGS. That sounded great too. Yeah, that's a nice way to have them on stack, like just a sleeve thing. If I'm playing in a public place, I would generally keep system gateway on me, just like the learn to play syndicate versus catalyst decks, just to be like, oh, you want to play? I can teach you in 10 minutes. Yeah. Hey, Geist, FFG's competitive stuff doesn't make it, but their co-op stuff does. Yeah. Oh, hey, you all want to talk about the new Marvel Champions hero that they previewed today? It looks really good. The Barrier, I read that. Is Restream cutting off longer messages? Apologies if that's the case. They come through on the original platform. Maybe they're not making it across. I wish there was a refined digital version of ANR. Yeah, it's JNet. We were just there. I got a pitch to do a Netrunner booth at an anime convention at the end of the month. I'm still considering if it fits the target demographic. I think it might. I think it'll be fun no matter what, Jai. I've been also running Learn to Play events in the Bay Area stores. It's going real well. Milanomi, how's it going? Pleasure to meet you and to play you at Worlds, by the way. That's really sick. Yeah. I think a lot of people are coming out. Arkham Horror tangent? No, if we're going to do a Marvel Champions tangent. Yo, Marvel Champions had a huge leak. Yo, you want to talk about weird leak stuff? I'm not a big leak friend. I actually don't like leaks generally. But unfortunately, like all the Marvel Champions content for next year leaked, which like that sucks. None of it was announced. But one of the cool leaks is like a data mine leak. And I mean it cool not because product got leaked. This is a story that dropped like 4 or 5 months ago. Have you heard about this like Magic Arena point system leak? I watched a video again like 2 nights ago, but from something that happened 5 months ago. The idea that people could data mine the point value of individual cards, and then people were queued up in queue on Magic Arena. It turns out their decks had scores associated to them. Have you heard this whole thing? It's fascinating. It is so wild. How's the international competitive scene? I'm playing my game store with my pod, but we're from Argentina. I'm not too sure how exactly that looks. Mostly I'm plugged into obviously the North American scene and then the European scene and then a bit of APAC stuff. But generally when it comes to other markets, I don't think I hear about too much. I think the one thing that you also want to be aware of is always be running as a website. And from time to time, you see tournaments showing up in regions that I'm not aware of what the local scenes look like in the region. So putting an event on ABR does help for sure. Someone's deck was so low points to trigger an error. Yeah, Quijwa, you know this thing. Someone registered a deck that said, sorry, this deck is unplayable. And then the error log was this deck is worth minus 333 points. And then people were like, what? Our decks have points? And then people could use the known deck that was negative 333 and then just change one card and then basically back algebra the value of every individual card in any individual deck. And then they've got it all on tables and figured out the value of each card. It's such a wild thing. The arena point, yeah, it's for Brawl, which is the casual format. It tries to pair decks of like power level. It's so interesting. But I don't think I think the thesis was actually that the points that were used in Brawl were actually taken from different modes. Because the value of certain cards only made sense in different modes. Like there's cards that were not 45 point cards in Brawl, but were labeled 45 points. So it seems like the point system extended beyond Brawl as much as they were mined in Brawl. People are making runs and stealing MTG arena agendas now. You kind of like that, but it sort of happened on accident. Not sure what the scene is like in Central South America. Yeah, I don't know what the scene is like in Central South America, unfortunately. I have a teammate who lives in Uruguay, and I think he's trying to become the South American Netrunner champion, which there's definitely seen. I'm assuming, I was hoping to some extent, like the existence of, you know, Liberation Cycle all being about Brazil, we would see a bigger, like, maybe there is. I don't know what organized play looks like in Brazil or what the local scenes look like, but I haven't heard anything about Netrunner really in South America. All right, let's build a deck. So, look, this is what I want to say. I've been playing a lot of PE recently. Snare. It's been around forever. It's the old card. Costs 4 credits. It does 3 net damage to you, and it gives you a tag. Forget about the sentence. It does 3 net damage to you. A lot of Jinteki's traps do damage to you. How do you undo the damage that Jinteki does to you? I used to watch MTG Machine Learning deck building. It's really cool, David. Look into the Brawl points leaks. It's fascinating. You draw. The way that you undo Jinteki damage is you draw. Okay, so they do a snare to you, and then you get to do it by drawing cards. You undo the snare damage by drawing cards, the basic action. Turns out the basic action to drawing cards is kind of fun. It's really good. It's exciting. You get new cards. Now this is NBN snare. How do you undo NBN snare? You also do a basic action. The basic action is remove tags. Remove tags is the most unfun basic action in all of damn Netrunner. It really is just the pits. Spending a click and 2 credits to do nothing is not fun. If you ask me, Snare versus Behold, which one do I think is actually fun? Which one I'd rather run into? It's always Snare. And that's because undoing tags is not fun. So gotta worry about that, because currently a lot of the faction NBN right now that works is all built around tags. I think actually the behold thing is a lot worse. Like, let's talk about this too, right? You run turn 1 R&D and you hit a snare in personal evolution. You expected that. You rolled your eyes waiting for the Jackson Howard to shuffle the 3 snares back into their deck for the 3rd time. But like, whatever, they paid 4 credits for it. That's a fair market price. That's all their money. What are they going to do next turn? Click for 2 credits and then install a card on the table? Probably. But you're playing against Reality Plus. Reality Plus says the first time a turn you take a tag, it's 2 credits fewer. So you run HQ on turn 1, heaven forbid you want to interact. And then they fire a Behold for 2 credits. Okay. So you have to spend 2 credits and 4 clicks. They spend 2 credits and no clicks. But it gets worse, because do you know what you did when you found that snare? You trashed it. You're like, that snare is gone until Spin Doctor comes back. Do you trash the Behold? You honestly probably shouldn't often. And that's because if you trash the Behold, you've trashed a card. So Oppo researches on them, which means there's a functional world and in a lot of cases where you've ran HQ, you've hit a Behold, the corporation has paid 2 credits, you trash the Behold because you don't want to hit that Behold again, and then next turn the corp pays no credits to give you 2 more tags. So because you ran, which that was on you, the corp paid 2 credits to give you 4 tags. And now you have to spend 4 basic actions and 8 credits doing that button on the basic action card that does nothing. I don't like this. I really don't think tags are fun. I'm getting to the point that I'm super tired about it. But like Behold, Oppo Research, none of this stuff makes any sense to me. It's wild to make a symmetrical tag card to give 2 tags for 4 credits. And some of this is just Reality Plus is the problem, let's be honest. Like, I don't know who enjoys clearing tags, okay? Who enjoys it? Every time people complain about tags, they say, you're playing Reality Plus. I think I know where the common factor. Yeah, no, you're totally right, Cold Lava. I just want to. Don Jateki's ID, the first time you turn the runner takes net damage to gain 2 credits. Imagine, or draw 2 cards. I'm about to be stoked if we're building an NBN deck. I want to, ooh, this scrolled off, build one that just isn't tag and bag, but couldn't find an engine or strat I vibed with. On System Gateway, you can build an NBN deck that's tag and destroy. Like, you just retribution all the programs, and it is a winning line. I think it's a bit of work, but you can easily do it. And then as soon as you have 1 or 2 tag punishment cards, that as soon as like tag and bag can be difficult, it is one of the archetypes that like won Worlds and did really well in the top cut. But like every NBN deck right now, that's not like re-education instant as Mari combo, is all just about grinding people into the NBN tag math. And the math is not fun. Is there a reason everyone carries no free lunch? It's very uncommon, no free lunch. It's not very common. I enjoy clearing tags as Seb. Okay. Remove tag is the worst thing in A&R. It's like really, it's a bummer. I'm picking a fight that not a lot of people are picking. I just don't look at it. Someone getting is clearing the tag is like eating your veggies. I'm a vegetarian. I like eating my veggies. I'll take the, anyways. Let's try, can you build NBN that doesn't care about tags in any way? I think it's difficult. I think a lot of the ice inherently right now just cares about tags. And the fact that Bologna got banned like 2 ban lists ago, this was like, you know, the quintessential, it's an agenda that is just like powerful generically for NBN that is one of the few cards that doesn't care about the word tag on it. Now, technically it does. Bologna was actually one of the good tag enablers, because if you gave the runner a lot of tags, or they had to clear all the tags, they didn't have a lot of money, and then Bologna became even more safe. I think the issue is most folks don't realize when to go tag me. Yeah. I think the issue is that people go tag me too fast. I think the problem is, oh man, I have so many problems, but I know most of them are my problems. Against most NBN decks, it is way sooner than you think it is. Yes. And then the question is like, how often do you get self-growth programmed? Are we ignoring the BC pre-deck in the room? No. I think that one's also pretty miserable. I think that one's kind of beatable, but that also has a sort of grinder, like, I'm going to return your cards to your hand over and over again. But like, I don't think this is like, every run event and program you install first to turn is just, you have to spend a click and 2 credits to remove a tag. Let's try and do something. Is a big windup to sell me on counter survey? If there were more cards to give or buff or reward removing tags, when you remove a tag, add a power counter, 3 power counters, gain a bad pub. Well, no, because you can't play that card. Because what about you play against HB, right? Like you can't do it. For what it's worth, we have very few ways to interact with tags on the runner side on runner's whims, right? We got Valentina recently, and Valentina is like, just doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're playing Seb specifically, who goes out the way to tag himself a heck of a lot. You can't play Valentine as a tech card because if it's a tech card, it's just largely economy card, and you could just play an economy card that just gives you economy, right? The sort of tag cards that we're thinking of are things like No Free Lunch that remove tags at instant speed, because technically that is an economy card, but also can save you a click, and clicks really matter in the modern tag decks. That's a really big part about the taxing aspect of the click and 2 credits is that you have fewer clicks, and fewer clicks really matters in a world of false lead. Hannah's really good, mind you. I think Hannah's the best card right now in the format to deal with tags. And I don't think this is good, but like we used to have cards back in the day that like really dealt with tags. It was still like take your medicine, but you know what I mean? I don't want this, but there's somewhere in the middle. What direction are we going if not damage and not BCPR plus crypto and money? I don't know. I don't think crypto and money. I want to do mid-range NBN. I think mid-range NBN is going to be really bad. I think there's a probability that we're going to end up on like fast advance Asmari, like king making Asmari, or we can do some sort of mid-range stuff with like Holloman and Vlad Grid and just try and score out and do something. I think mid-range Asmari might do something. I think we are going to play Crypto Crash because it is probably one of the most mid-rangey NBN cards that we can play as an agenda. But we're just going to try and like score out and do like reasonable stuff without seeing if we can rely on the word tag at all in the NBN card pool. My guess is no. Do you think I can build a Jinteki deck that doesn't care about the word net damage? I don't think so either. And yet, I do wish Jinteki was a bit wider of a faction, but fast advance with psychographics, it says the word tag on it. Is tag and bag okay like puppetry on the end of the line? No. No, I don't think so. No, that's just kind of like the decks that are doing stuff out there right now. You know, Mindscaping. Fazarium stocks are down. You can play Glacier's Mario with Hydra. It kind of doesn't care about tags. I think Hydra's pretty good right now. I don't think people are playing Fazarium at all. 6 Mario was a real deck for a while. It was, but like Bologna, I'm pretty sure. So let's look at the IDs that we have access to see if we can make a tag agnostic NBN deck. Okay. Acme Consulting technically says tag on it, and it means that we can play our very good capacitors and make them like 5 strength or whatever the text on capacitor is. Let me move my head slightly. This is interesting. I think the cool thing you can do with Asmari is build horizontal and do the fully operational kind of decks. Those are kind of fun, but I don't know exactly what we're doing here. It says the word tag on it. Asmari, this is the easiest one because 40 deck minimum is generally pretty good, pretty consistent, small deck. And that ability just gives you like 10 to 14 free credits. And we're probably going to need credits because the way the game works. Epiphany, also kind of interesting. I think we've played fun Epiphany decks that don't care about tags at all. They just want to go fast and say, you trash our stuff. We're not going to hard hitting news you, but we're going to get Epiphany counters. And top roping Epiphany is like really, really fun. GameNet, no, can't do this one. Can do this one, but not my favorite. And then NEH is probably just some sort of acid spam, of course. And that could work too. But generally acid spam needs to be backed up by some sort of threat. The idea is that you can trash my stuff, but then I'll oppo you. And then the idea is that things get worse for you. You can build NEH without oppo, with mutually assured destruction, but as a newer player, what do you mean by mid-range? Nikolai, great question. So mid-range is like this concept that old jaded players use all the time, and it's to talk about a Netrunner world that they lived in once and they swear was real. The idea is we're going to play the quintessential archetypal Netrunner that you think of when you're introduced to the game for the first like 2 to 3 months before you start getting really weird with the archetypes. Reg, which says in big quotes. The idea is that our goal is to score agendas behind ice on the table. We are playing the most honest Netrunner where we're going to score 7 points on the table. We're going to be a precision design deck. We're not going to do like oppo research and give you a tag and then use the tags to do shipment for Vladisa Bursk and then score that and close your accounts. Why are we torturing ourselves, Cror? You cannot avert your eyes. We need to do this. How's it going? It's going to go bad. It's going to go poorly, but it's going to at least let us learn something about the card pool and what it lacks. And that's what reg means, classically. I forgot if the Restore Holloman Epiphany was on op. I don't think it was, Jai, and I think that deck kind of slaps. Acid Epiphany without an oppo threat is really soft to acid tech? Yes, but it's fun. Managar, Manana, Wedding, and Asmari. I would love a red herrings. But we can't get it. Put some jank to play against this. What we describe as the most honest runner. The problem is honest runners are really frightening. Like honest runners are generally way better than honest corpse, I think. This is trying to be Glacier, not Glacier. Because Glacier kind of means like I want to score on turn 20. We want to win on turn 14 to turn 10. Glacier generally, at least the way that I think of when I hear Glacier, is like, I want to put 4 ice on every server. I want to slow the game down at a rate that a Glacier moves. Also a lot of ice, right? I don't want to do that. I want to jam. I want to be like, I'm scoring on the table, going fast. NAP Gordon is your red herring. Oh shit, NAP Gordon is really good. And that's a reason to play Pravdavost. Stoke the Embers for FA-ish. That's what you do in Epiphany. It's really hard to use Stoke the Embers and just about anybody else because it's very hard to get the first line of text on Stoke the Embers to work. Or sorry, second line of text. I don't know why these are like this. Install happens first, score happens second. Why are these in this order? Izzy, how's it going? Gordon and Pravdavost when I had blown was grossy. I think Gordon is underrated. I think nobody's playing Imp. Gordon's a good card. People don't expect it. Like this is the window opener. It's like the sort of fast break where it's like suddenly what? You have all that in one click? It's like, yeah, suddenly now it costs you 8 credits to steal my agenda behind a remote server. You were ready to get in. You weren't ready to pay 8 credits. Are the abilities alphabetical? They usually shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. They're generally meant to be like generally ongoing ability, then triggered ability. Like if you look at precision design. I don't think they're alphabetical. There has to be like a logic to it. So let's look at what agendas actually make sense. Crypto Crash is just good. The runner not having money is good for our game plan. We like that. Are lockdowns viable? I've never seen them in use before. They're not common. The HB lockdown won Worlds 2 years ago as a one of. It was actually doing relatively well earlier this year as well. The Jiteki one has seen no consistent competitive play. The NBN one is very kind of cool in Reality Plus, but hasn't done anything. The Wayland one hasn't done anything besides been threatened from Iron Fox to bring it to tournaments. The neutral one has shown up in some weird lists. I actually think NAPD Cordon as the neutral one showed up in some early like Asmari kill decks, the re-education combo decks, because it was just like I can install double advance. This was before we had Holloman and then just Cordon. That was kind of cool. But the most popular one's the HB one by a mile, because its text is all parts of the text are really good. NAC was 3x and Snacks. I don't know what Snacks is by name, but Next Activation is by far the most played. Lockdowns are quite bad until they're good due to meta shifts, so then they're really good, yeah. Cordon might combo well with Beal if you can pull it off. Maybe. A lot of times you don't put off Beal by just like keep advancing it. You just like get it scored. Are we going to filter out search with X tag? No, because we want to see how much of the stuff gets filtered out, I think. So we can't play this. This card we probably should still play because it is annoying. I think we will play this just because it's a 3-2 and we kind of need those. Snacks is World's Winning Sports. Oh, that's what it was called. It wasn't on 3? Was it on 1? Was it on 3? Get out. What? Oh shit. I didn't know that. I thought it was on 1 or 2. It was on 3. Yeah, this card was good. Specifically, this card was good because there was a very prevalent hardware that broke ice. So non-icebreaker cards to break subroutines is very important. That makes so much sense. This was endurance meta. So 3 makes a lot of sense. Because endurance. Yeah, because endurance. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Boat mention alert. Hey, we actually don't mention boat a lot on this channel. Stoke the Embers. This card's only good if you can play around it. I think if you do something like Epiphany, it's really quite good and really quite fun. I think fun is actually a really important line in this agenda. It's quite fun. This one's just universally kind of good, especially if you play NAPD Cordon. It's kind of fun. It's just a 4-2 that makes their next 3-2 easy to score and your next 4-2 easy to score, and you can go like this. Now, the problem is like what you end up ending in a deck like this, like running this many 4-2s, you're kind of incentivized to run Seamless Launch. And the problem is because you don't have defensive upgrades, you generally pair these sort of decks with offensive, I wouldn't say upgrades, but offensive play patterns. The idea is that, oh, you did get into my remote server, but you were a bit too fast and loose, and then you hit them with the oppo. That's what we're not going to try not to do to see if there's another like recourse that we can pursue. But in theory, that's what we want to do. Put advancements on 4-2s and kind of score out quickly. Now, the issue is generally for this agenda suite, we're going to play 18 points. So we want to play like 2 3-pointers, but I do not know what 3-pointer we can fit into this deck at all. We probably don't, and just probably play an agenda density that's a bit messed up. So like king making, you could do Lacosta Pravdavost, I guess. Yeah, maybe. I don't like Pravdavost, honestly. Why not Degree Mill? Yeah, probably will be Degree Mill. Probably will be Degree Mill. Play Hall instead of Seamless so you can spend influence on defensive upgrades. I'm assuming that Hallman's going to be way too expensive. Like, we're not playing Off-World Office. We actually probably just play Off-World Office instead of Remastered, let's be honest. 3x Beal is pseudo GFI. It's, yeah, but then you still run into problems, right? Because it's not about the points that are in your deck. Like, you still have to run degree mills, right? Fast. Solomir, what's fast? B1001 will show his face as it removes tags and doesn't leave you tagged. But we're not playing tags. FA. We're not gonna fast advance. We're playing reg. A reg. You're building a 20-point list and 18-point ID? Yeah, we'll cut one of these. Probably this one. Boom. Okay. What do we have access to? Is this our Janina deck? Is it worth to play Sanson just to make the runner trash it? No. Oh, if we can't use it, no. They don't know that. But like, you can put a lot of things on the table that they have to trash. Most assets they put in your deck are must trashes. So I think it's a bit of a fallacy to put a useless card in your deck that's must trash. Like if we just put an Amani Sanai on the table, they have to trash it. And as an Amani Sanai, we can use it. Yo, Jeff, how's it going? How's your fab journey? Vlad Grid for a tiny bit of FA? That's what I was thinking. Vlad Grid's kind of fun. Like install advance, they have to trash that. And that lets us fast advance 4-2s, which is kind of neat. It also works with Seamless for 3-2s, but we only have 1 3-2. I have a cool B1001 alt art, but I have zero desire to use the card. It's a perilous situation. B1001's really fun. B is actually a really fun card. It's a really tricky card. You have to build board states around it. That makes sense. All right, Spin Doctor. Yeah, seems good. Reversed accounts. Kind of a dream to do install advance every turn and say, oh, how are you, what are you gonna do? Run it and not. What about Logjam in Prov? That is like the worst part of Prov to me, where it's like, my ice is gonna get infinitely bigger. But I think the issue is like, I don't like infinite scaling ice as a rule. B1001's kind of cringe. No, it's not, Jai. Not gonna lie, you just lied. Reverse also works with Vlad Grid. Nuke them for 12 credits. Daily Business Show, pretty good, honestly. This is like just a nice workhorse card we can put on the table. I have spoken. They have to trash this for 4. I think this card is a bit underplayed right now, and I think this is going to do a bit more work for us than federal fundraising. I don't think this deck is going to work, but like this is the sort of card I'll put on the table in res. I won my first fab game, then looked how much the deck would cost and felt pain. Oh, what were you playing? Jeff, spend $40 and buy one of the pre-constructed armory decks. They're like pretty fun. Also, how much? Yeah, please let us know. This is really fun. Thank you for the stream, Glocko. Thanks for dropping in, eh? Please ask questions if you do have any more questions. But again, thanks for dropping in. Cat and Prov is where it's at. I really don't like advanceable ice. B1085. Oh, great. Oh, great, D. Great. Now we're getting banned. Okay, let's look at the ice. This is not going to work. Authenticator. It says tag on it. It says tag on it. Doesn't do anything. Good card. Genuinely very good card, but you need a deck where this first sentence matters. And that's not going to be our deck. Now, it is actually like a genuinely tempo hit to go through this thing. 4 strength is, you know, 2 counters off the propeller, which is kind of fun. This thing is expensive, but like going through this is generally annoying. NBN really lacks mid-range barriers. I'd struggle to call this mid-range. I'd call this very, very, very expensive on it. It does say tag on it, yeah, but that's a fake subroutine. It only exists so people who say break all, they lose attacks to the break all gods. Tollbooth for some run attacks. So Tollbooth is kind of like fallen apart. If you ask me, would I rather play Tollbooth for 8 credits that has 1 subroutine, or Messna Chesso that has 5 credits and has 2 subroutines? I honestly much rather play the Messna Chesso in Modern Netrunner. And that's also because there's a lot of ways to cheat around ice with a single subroutine, and 2 subroutine ice is just a bit more annoying. It was the World Champ deck when it was being shown at around 1K. You're playing Enigma? Convenience better than economy? Oh, not in this economy. That's wild, Jeff. That's a hard start. You're learning the hard end. I think King Making Superconducting Hub was a Tagless NBN deck. Yeah, I think it was. The King Making Asmari. I think we're going to probably end up on something like that because it is a bit more fun. But that like early QTM deck was kind of fun. Authenticator's runner's choice, so really they're tagging themselves. How good is this card when they tag themselves, right? In our deck, it's not that good because we have no tag punishment. They're playing non-tag Kogates, but good luck with sentries. Yeah, sentries is going to be a problem. Wraparound. This is what I mean. Cheap barriers, got a lot of them. Big, medium barriers, very little. It's hard to find a spot. This card is very good. I think this card is underplayed. Every basically breaker suite breaks for 1 or 2. Oh, you're playing Aurora. Oh, that's that expensive? What in that deck is that expensive? Aurora is a much better learn to play deck. What's that expensive in Aurora? I guess because everyone's trying to play it, it got expensive. Ugh. This says tag on it. This is annoying though. Toll booth technically. Sync BRE has tag on it, but is Sync BRE good? You gotta watch out, Queedwa. If you search tag like that, it'll also hide all the sabotage cards. I'm only half joking, but kind of joking. No, BRE is not good. What are you talking about? Trace 2? Pop-up window is good. Warmonger's Diplomacy is apparently $200 per. Jesus, flesh and blood. The game is so... Jeff, place limited, play sealed, and then just go to the store and for $40 buy an armory constructed deck. Don't modify it, and then just play those against each other with your friends. Because they're honestly fun. They're really fun, and play it as a board game, and don't worry about everything. $70 per I can't read. That makes way more sense. But you're playing $70 per every copy of like Command and Conquer, $70 per Warmonger, $70 for your Codex of Frailty, $70 for every E-Strike. Enjoy your comment cards. Okay. Sorry. Sandman. This has classically been pretty bad. Are there any utility ice that say something like Gatekeeper Drafter on them? Let me have 5-cost code games the Buzzsaw breaks for 1, but nobody's playing Buzzsaw. Unity breaks this for 3, sometimes 4. Like, you need ice that's just good into Trickshot Unity. Jua? Yeah, Jua is good. Jua is good. Pop-up? Yeah, I guess we're playing pop-up because it doesn't end the run. Piranhas? It says tag on it technically. It's very bad because you can't play SGP to put the run into no tag hell, but then this card doesn't do anything in no tag hell. You actually don't want to put it in there, right? Checkmate. End the run unless it takes message Espo, very good. No. Like, this is the sort of mid-range barrier you have in what's it called? In NBN. And for what it's worth, like, this being 2 counters for Propeller is, like, okay. Cleaver's not seeing a lot of play. Will you break this for, like, 3 credits with Pressure Spike, if I'm not mistaken? Literally import Gatekeeper, and we probably won't have to spend on Code Gates. Like, what's a barrier we can play? Clev seems too situational for... It's not a very good card. It's, like, a really, really niche tech card. But the idea is, like, the numbers on it are just not taxing. Jua can be good. But the thing is, like, we need a Brawn. We need an Anchor. We need an ice that we put on the table and say, we're scoring our agendas behind this as soon as turn 1. And it's probably, like, Hammer, but Hammer says tag on it. So we'll just do 2 Jua. Hydra, probably okay. If you ever res a Hydra for 5 credits, you win the game. So I'm going to put Hydra in the deck. It's probably Hydra, yeah. I think Hydra is our anchor. Our remote server should always be Hydra. And Eula. Yeah, in Eula. Eula's a good one too. Funhouse, free lunch, F2P. Is free lunch, how expensive is it? It's never more than 2 credits. F2P. This card's not bad. And then Endless Eula. This is our ice suite. That's 50 nice. It's kind of what you want. Hydra gives tags. I know Aurora, but there's no way around it. Like, if we do S Sentry, X tag, they're all gone? No, that can't be right. Something happened. S Sentry, X tag. What? Where are the power cannons or free lunch supposed to be from? Oh, from the subroutines. It's not an ice you need to be familiar with. Right? Like, do you know what I want? I want a... Like, I just want an ice like this. I probably need a better ice than this, but like, I just want something that the numbers are a bit good. Like, I don't know. There's no world where it's right to be playing free lunch? No. It's 3 credit, 2 credit break at best? Yes. It never costs more than 2 credits. The only time that you would consider playing it is like maybe during, I'm not sure, does GameNet fire during lose? Even then, it's not great. But then it's a 4 credit break, but no, it's just not impactful. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, RSVP is good. Okay, so we have this. Now we need to actually win. I feel like load-bearing Regolith is going to sneak up on us. Yo, real talk. I was thinking about this today. How good would it be to get Sweep Sweep back as a way just to dunk on Lat just like a bit? Just like say, oh, you have 6 cards in hand, lad. Oh, 5 credits. X Sentry to X Tag should just pull up Jua. That's the only one. How nice would it be just to have this, just to be like, sorry, lat. Nice try. Oh, man. I miss this card so much. Okay. Let's get some ways to get money in this deck. I do like Data Hound. Crim plays Classic. There's a Sweep Paladin. Hey, Ian, how's it going? Love Machine Gold Farmer sure have some good numbers on it. Yeah, they're pretty good. How's it going, Drew? Can't play those. So what will help us win the game? How do we win the game? Daily quest? It's too slow. Like, we want to be playing Rashida. We want to be putting things on the remote server. We don't want to just put the daily quest in there and then do nothing. Like, daily quest is good for decks that are pretty slow, or decks that build a second remote server. I'm not convinced we can do either of those. I think we'll just put a regolith in there and just take the money off as soon as we can. That's probably it. Standard procedure is still legal. Sweeps light. Holy shit. Yeah, you're right. Did we just say event? Why are we on DBS? We're trying to make it like a reg NBN, Ian. Yeah, you're probably not going to enjoy this exercise as much as I'm not going to. Congratulations, one of the cards of all time. The like everyone makes money card. TCA maybe makes sweeps stronger now than it used to be. Yeah, I think so. I think you would actually hold it for the TCA to come down. Man, sweeps would be really cool right now. Man, I want a sweeps reprint. Play as Mario, make them horde events and stand for big cash. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm into it. We still need a win condition. We'll cross that line in a second. I think predictive is just like fine. Holloman, I think Holloman's gonna be too expensive. I think we have Seamless, so I don't think we need a Holloman. I'm hoping. Like I'll be honest, I'm coping, right? Are we leaning to focus group? No, we can't. It's just not consistent. This just doesn't much do anything. It's really, really hard to play with any sort of consistency. It's almost cool. It's almost cool. The numbers are just not. Like, I wish a card like this was fun. Like, genuinely, so this is where I was thinking about this sort of stuff and thinking about Sweepsweek. I think right now, NVN Color Pie, almost the only thing that matters is tags. Almost the only thing that matters is tags. And NBN technically has some other things than Color Pie. Information, knowledge, hand size, consumption, all these other fun mechanics. But imagine that you were in an NBN matchup and you were trying to get certain cards out of your hand to play around things like focus group. This is really cool because it's fast events that you can play around by managing the types of cards that you have in your hand. The idea that you want to overdraw to discard events so that you had like one event, one resource, one hardware, you know, some nonsense like that you can invent. I think that's such a cool play pattern, but we just don't see it. No Yodel. I don't know how we're going to have enough cards in hand to Yodel. Maybe we can with Predictive, but like we're not going to be drawing a lot. Focus group leaving you to win if you guess wrong is so brutal. Yeah, I know. The fact that it puts the advancements means that like you've already installed the card. Do we want to make soft bannable econ operations part of NBN Colorblind too? Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, the YDLs. Maybe this is enough. I don't know. Are we? We're basically like, let's card for card a PD deck. How much influence is Are there any upgrades that are defensible? Any defensible upgrades before we just start importing like 15 influence on defensive upgrades? Only if the runner made a successful run really limits his ability to do the thing you want. Yes, there's a lot of sentences on that are pretty rough. Amaze is the best upgrade I think NBN has. Don't look at Holloman. But like it cares about tags. Peeping Tom is really rough. It cares about tags. Looking at the hand is fun, but it cares about tags. This is win more, not win at all. This is slight fast advance. We don't really need that. We just want like a Managarm. We want a Managarm. Ganked can sometimes be a Managarm. Gank doesn't say tag, no, but it's also abomination. I'm really just being pretty upset about things tonight. Apologies. When the runner accesses this arg, like I'm dealing with a card pool I think I enjoy the least, so if I'm getting a bit spicy about it. Hollow is your Infaction Seamless, as boring as the deck is Skunk Void. Maybe we do just like cut Seamless and just play like, okay, 2 Anoetic, 2 Managarm. Holy crap. 3 Hollowman? We can't afford that. Is this a deck? 3 Endless Heal is way too expensive. We can't afford this. We just have to be able to afford our first jam. So we're on 14 ice. That's about right. 1 influence, virus. Cut DBS, cut pop-ups, cut standard procedure, fix ice, add rego. We can't fix the ice though. I kind of like the pop-up, I'll be honest. I'm kind of into the pop-up. Under this deck building answer, does it legitimately stick its own bike spokes meme? Yeah. But we're research. I don't think we can do this without Cordon or without, like, do we do the, like, the Rotom 1 Regolith Classic? We shouldn't be playing standard procedure? No, we shouldn't. It was just a dunk on Lat slightly more, and that seems fun. So I guess we do, like, 2 Regolith. Mavirus is probably, like, our 1 influence slot. It's good that we predict him to keep our hand size full, because Vanoetic, like, that's kind of a fun interaction. But now I'm worried that we're not going to be scoring these out too easily, because we need Hollow in. Maybe we can do it. Like, what's this draw like? Gaming? Hedge fund pop window. Okay, how do we fix the ice? Maybe not 3 of those. Probably not 3 of those. Can we afford a 3rd endless YOLO? We just want something that doesn't feel ass on tempo. And doesn't say tag on it. Because of the pre-mentioned issue. Like, I'll play a Tithe. Enigma? Yeah. Maybe. It feels so weird. Can we just put in 1 capacitor? How bad is it? It's pretty bad. Papa, we just cut 1 though. Oh, that was a good hand actually. This hand? Pretty good. Just kidding. Draw 3. The thing is, like, they're also going to think that we're on, you know, Asmari kill combo, so they're going to play different. And then we're going to put 3 upgrades in the remote server, and it's going to be Hollow and Anoetic, and they're going to be a problem. I appreciate you helping me to build a baseline that I can use for my How to Build and Tune a Deck series, but I don't know how far I can go with Tagless NBN as a theme. Yeah, that's going to be a really long chapter. Okay, this Hydra almost works. So we'd probably just do, like, Jua, Managarm, Rashida. I don't know how to interact with that. We would do this, draw this. Okay. So unfortunately, the only agenda we have is here. So we do, like, Hedge Fund. I think we just leave Centrals open. Wrap Rashida. Okay, we get this. That's great. We could do Crypto Crash Advance. I think we just play Cordon. And we just do install Advance constantly. Cordon Holloman is also really funny. You can install agenda, you can Holloman it, and you can Cordon. Like, that's kind of goofy. It's actually pretty goofy. Can we, like, cut all the Regoliths? How many Regoliths are we going to need? Maybe Asmari will give us more money than we think it does. The problem is, like, Cordon doesn't work with Degree Mill, but, like, oh, it kind of does with Holloman. This is the problem, is, like, if we open with Hydra, this is why we want to have a 5-credit econ play, so that we can threaten Hydra turn 1. Like, that's the non-equivalent exchange strat. But here we could just do, like, Enigma, Managarm, Crypto. Like, maybe we can just cut the Anoetic for Seamlesses and just say Managarm's enough. Is Managarm enough? I just feel like we can't have this many 4-2s without Seamless. Cordon's basically a defensive upgrade. Yeah, that'll empower me. That's the sort of thinking we need here. Yeah. BC instead of Anoetic. I think Anoetic is a lot better. Yeah, Born Control's not bad. Our barriers are pretty kind of all over the place. This makes us a bit more aggressive. Is there a cheaper Sentry you can run? No, not really. Like, obviously this is expensive. The good thing about Hydra is that if it fires, we gain 5 credits back. So it's all just about affording it. Rototurret, I'm not a big Rototurret believer. I'd rather just, like, import Drafter. I would cut Cordon for the 3rd Hollow and YDL and ship it. I don't think we can afford the 3rd Hollow. Like, I think here we can do, like, 2 Seamless, 1 Border Control. This is maybe gonna do it for me. Tithe. I kind of like Tithe. Tithe is basically pop-up window. Wait, Tithe is basically pop-up window. Why don't we just play Tithe? It's not pop-up window. Cut one card. One wrap, maybe? Float and influence. The second you slot a rotator, you play on against 419. Yeah. In other news, I'm happy to report that Banhart Steve almost entirely survives the jump to Lucy's restart format. You only lose Paragon TCA Strike Fund. What's in the restart format? Like, this almost seems playable. If you don't think about it that much. Oh, this is not going to be good. We'll try it. There's lots of tags. This will throw off the algorithm. All right, so please, you need to respect the oppo. Restart a system update, system gateway, +1. NSG cycle, +1. Oh, I see, NSG set of your choice. Okay. What's the difference between a cycle and a set? Oh, I don't know where my tabs are. Import deck. Nope. Corp deck. Did I do it? I did it. Lots of tags in here. Set is half a cycle. Huh. Okay. Restarted one of the off meta formats that started showing up on APR. So I know a lot of people enjoy them. I often don't like formats that have like a set restriction to be like, oh, it is your choice of sets or you choice of this. Because I feel like a lot of the time, the biggest decisions you make are deck building, right? Like I think this comes up with RAM as well, random access memories, where it's like you have 2 hours before, they'll be like, these are the sets. It feels like it's every format will have a busted deck because it's not balanced. It's not meant to be balanced, right? The question is, how quickly can you find that format? And that's never like grabbed me to be like, this is a deck builders format. And like, I like building decks. You saw the deck we just built. It's like really quite good. But you know what I mean? RAM release evens the playing field. Yeah, I agree. But still, like, it is a deck builder format. I think a lot of those events are solved during deck building, not during playing. It's kind of like draft. Like the most fun part about draft is building the deck, playing the deck. Sometimes it's not fun. We played before today, right? Best of luck. Have fun. That's good. Who can say? I watched the Tuesday stream. Can't believe it was kind of cooking. It was kind of cooking. Like it was kind of sick. Deck building being the design factor is kind of the point, though, especially in RAM. No, I agree. But I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it swung too far. Okay, so the big thing is we want to keep our barriers on the inside because Kit does Kit stuff. We can't really stop Trick Shot, or can we? We can't. So I'll just do this, and we'll put a code gate on R&D, and then hopefully be fine. Yeah, it's a really good hand. Genuinely great hand. Fully unbanned would be a silly format, but I'm not convinced SVA isn't perpetually busted. It must be. I think RAM could add a pack or two to make a player bigger part of it. Yeah, I agree. Like the smaller format is, I think. But like, I don't know. I think I've seen so many RAM things where it's like, oh, clearly there's a combo deck with this and this and this, and it's busted. And it's up to you to build it as quickly as possible. The format also, like, didn't it give you extra points if you built quickly? Which I feel like just kind of might be a bummer. I have good news. I don't really agree, but startup is one of those where people were pining for previous iterations, so it kind of makes sense to me. Deck building be the same factor. I think a lot of people just want Borealis startup back. I wonder if we're gonna see. Ooh, ice. Okay. Do we yodel here? We probably do. We do yodel double ice. I don't think we care if we get Bernard. Let's get a Hydra on the table. We can't res it. Let's get a Jua. It won't do anything. But it's going to be annoying. Event. She played one event. Right? Maybe I'll try solo RAM this year. I think RAM really incentivizes working in groups. Yeah, well, yeah, it does. That's illegal though. D, I don't think you're allowed to do that. All right, rigging up. We got 2 credits. Okay, well, play all your events. That's fine. Oh, we're face checking. That's kind of cool. don't love playing successful run events into ice. That's gonna be rezzed. You don't see that very often. Okay. That's how I've always done RAM. I did that before I even joined the Bears. Oh, D, straight to jail. I'm sorry. I have to report you now that you said that. What is RAM? So RAM is called as short for random access memory. That obviously doesn't help, Andre, but it is a format that like 2 hours before the event starts, they roll a series. I don't know what the limitations are, but like a series of a certain amount of packs, certain amount of in theory you get through this because you actually have a fractor. Sorry, it rolls like 4 random expansions, and then the tournament is just like build with these 4 expansions. Like a very limited card pool, but a very weird card pool. So if we put another ice on here, like I'm okay with just the pop-up window. Because now you can't just like lobby through the Jewel, lobby through the wraparound. I'm expecting people to be excited about previous iterations, but prior is like most nostalgia is based on people in the time, not the format. Yes, I agree. Like at some point people want to be like, oh, I want to play Liberation Startup again. 2 large boxes and 10 data packs or sets, I think. Whoa, that's actually a bigger pool than I remembered. There's a really good website that makes it easy to deck build, or like to show you, not deck build, but to show you the card pool, which is great. Maybe if there's no 40-minute bonus, it'd be a lot easier to do without collaboration. I think we can just advance planogram, but we might need a planogram to draw to find the next agenda. I just don't want to score this out and do nothing. This is like cheaper than it looks. Lobby breaks Endless Eula really poorly. I think we're going to see all the pressure on R&D going forward. Our Koge on the Innermost is like not great. This is where I want to pop up on HQ. Yeah, we'll just put nonsense on HQ. I don't think you break Eula with Oiler. With Lobby. I think folks will try. You don't need to. Mantle. Oh, this is the stealth version. Okay. The Jew, if it hits, is going to be way worse. I've hated every startup format from a competitive perspective. They've been very good for the game. Yeah. Ah, okay. At least we got to do this cool thing, which is 2 modes. Beans. We were meant to do 2 modes. This Hydra on R&D into the stealth breaker is going to be very expensive. Maybe we were just meant to yodel there and throw out some cards. I could see that being right. Yeah, let's just get some money. All right, I don't want the Enigma. The Message Chest was like kind of mid into what's going to be a 4 strength. What's it called? The dive one, Hyperbaric soon. Rigging up a Hyperbaric. There you go. We got our 2 credits. So this will tick up in strength. She did throw out a twinning. She also does have a tag. Burner. Okay. So if we res the Jua, we pay 2. She pays 1, 2, 3. A tag? No, don't look at it. Super not, look away. I'm just gonna not res that. I don't think we care. We want to keep the seamless in the cordon. All right. I think the bonus is interesting, but I spiked a lot of Rams and have a relatively deep archetype knowledge, so removing it might make sense. I think also for a lot of newer players who don't know the old card pool, it's going to be even harder to build with old Ram cards. Maybe that makes it more fun because you get to explore more. So seamless at the bottom. Hydra to the top. Very cool. I like that from her. Is this deck good? All right, all right. I'm just gonna put this on RD because I might do something. She's still tagged. She knows that this should be a Hydra here, though. If we don't click the remove resource button, it doesn't count. Yeah, we're gonna pretend. We're gonna pretend. Wait, what's the math here? If we res the Hydra, it's half our money. She has to get to 6 strength, so she boosts 1 for free. So okay, so 6 strength. She's at 2 strength. She has to spend 8 credits. She has 4, 5. I mean, yeah. It's not a great trick shot unless she runs this remote server. There's literally any what's ever going to push for it. Okay, well now she's going to break this really cheaply, but we just need to get another thing in front of her. Now she does have after image, so she's going to bypass her Hydra. It's going to be a really bad res overall. This is not going to be good for us. What if we're in, but the challenge is to beat some standard decks with limited card pool? It'd be hard. Okay, all our... you know how we try to build an honest deck with ice and stuff? And then you play against Kit? Yeah, we deserve this. Or you just try to build a deck that's about having good ice. It's okay. Oh, excuse me, that's on me. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. A deck with ice against Shaper, against Hyperbaric. So she's breaking all three of them. So this she can break 2 and get 2 creds back in Axis. Now, her money's not there. Magic of Public Trail SGP. We don't even need Public Trail. She has the tag. The best case scenario is that she runs this and hits the Jua, right? Like if she actually does the run, she trashes Spin Doctor. Okay. If she does the remote run. Okay. Would you rather play it against Crew Hosh? Yeah. 10 strength, 6 strength Hydra? Yeah, okay. All right. Seamless. Draw. Yo, what? For real though? We're meant to have seen more than one agenda in the top 21 cards. Like, Eula's still really good. We could advance the Mesa Chesso. That actually is probably fine. I just want this Jua to fire. So I probably want to get a second ice on HQ. Just like to bait. Yeah, Eula's pretty good here. You're not even 6 Mari? No, we're tempo as Mari. But we've seen one agenda. We've seen 2 points in the top 20? 23? Our remote needs something more. Our remote's actually perfect. The pop-up window eats the Hyperbaric. The Jua returns the Hyperbaric. The wraparound ends around. This is lean. This is exactly what your startup needs to look like. Your startup needs to look like this server. Stop it. All our agendas are in there. Still pulling the tag to you, man. We need tag punishment. The server costs 1 credit to run. Jua returns their choice. Will never bounce Hyperbaric. Oh, yeah, okay. I was meant to read the card. That's cool. I guess we all know how it works now. It evens the playing field. Okay. That's not good. Wait, where did she get the true email? Oh, on that run. Yeah, because there's 7 points in R&D. Okay, so now I'm going to transition to my other argument where like this sort of Netrunner is not great if we're not able to make plays. We're now on game point. She's seen 4 cards? Oh, and a burner. She's seen 4 cards and a burner, and we're going to lose. Ow. I mean, I guess we get a second Hydra. I think we just have to put ice on R&D. Like, I mean, maybe? We found tag punishment. That's our second, like, amped planogram. I think that's all we have in the deck, though. What about if she installs 2 Hyperbarics? Like, we have to say, I'm going to choose Hyperbaric and then your barrier, and then the wraparound will force the Hyperbaric. I wonder if you could do RAM where everyone's final pack is different, but that's just draft, I think. Yeah, and people will feel bad because if they get a bad pack. Oh my. Oh my. What? Drag him with what? She's not gonna run this until she gets her killer down. There's no way she's running this. Can assets be installed on HQ? What about R&D? No, Biscotta. The only things that you can install on the root of central servers are upgrades. Assets and agendas can only be installed in remote servers, but you can put an upgrade on the root of HQ, or root of R&D, or root of archives. Time to check the deck box. Yeah. Okay, so now we're cooked. Is this without tags or without agendas? All right. Value pop-up window. I know she's on 3 dirty laundry, so I wanted to put something annoying here. So the after image is down, but she actually has very limited stealth credits. So the after image is even hard to get through the Hydra. We can still win from this. Point density in R&D is approaching 1. Yes, it's getting bad. Snap res detected. Busted. Now, I'm playing this Corden not because of the remote server, because it protects every server. That's why the card is good. We don't have Holloman in this list, which means scoring the 5-3 is going to be difficult. Upgrades can be installed in R&D? Yep, in the root of R&D. So a lot of people will like scoot up their ice and put the upgrade behind it. So you can put like a Managarm Skunkworks on it on R&D, no problem. There's some upgrades that say remote servers only, like Tucana specifically and like Tranquility Home Grid, but they don't make, well, Tucana could make sense on a central server, but yeah. You can put them a virus on R&D. Oh my god, there's 12 cards in R&D? This is a big Into the Depths. So this Message Chesto is free. This Jua is... gonna fire. If she just uses the mantles on the Message Chesto, the Jua could fire. Wait, Jua kind of messes with this Into the Depths? Oh yeah, true, as well. She can install from her deck, but she's definitely gonna get 4 credits. She doesn't have a reason to charge the Hyperbaric. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry. Yeah, that's on me. So if she like uses the mantles reflexively, which I think with the after image on the table, you probably want to avoid doing that. Oh, she didn't. Okay. All right. Well, the Drew still does something. Proceeds to not click ahead. I didn't think she broke because I wrote my message. You're right, though. So she cannot install cards for the rest of this run, which is going to stop the valuable attacks onto the depths. Worst case scenario, she trashes the NMPD Corden for 2 credits. That's the bad thing. Oh, she's trying. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, you can't do that last one. Oh. So that apparently isn't implemented. Oh, bypass. She bypassed it. Neat. That's fine. Imagine we get a card back or something. Yeah, no dice, no dice. She bypassed it, so the on counter didn't fire. This might sound like coping, but if she didn't have a 6 cost, and a bypass her sentry, our ice suite is actually pretty good. If it wasn't for this exact situation that we find ourselves in. I'm not worried about this. It costs 2 credits to run HQ. You can't sustain that turn after turn. 1 in 5 we lose. Likely we have to jam the off-world office. I actually don't know what card she gets back. I'm kidding. It's trick shot. It's trick shot. Getting another sentry here would be interesting, but then she just like, yeah, it doesn't do anything. Serum hasn't been around, immediately run to after image. It is what it is. Can she get through this? Border control, pop-up window, Jua. Yeah, actually she can get through this. Well, no, maybe not. There's no way of knowing. It's going to be tricky. It depends on how she can deal with the border control. We can trash Steve. Serious to mistake? I don't think it matters. We could do install advanced trash Steve. Yeah, maybe. Can't be BC Wrap. Yeah, BC Wrap is going to be tricky. This deck doesn't have simul chip, so she's going to need to install her either Gauss or the other one. This is going to be okay. Yeah, but trashing Steve is tag punishment. We don't want to do that. Is Endless Eula good? Or is just we haven't played into a crew deck? Like the runner can just do their installs before encountering Jew is kind of effed. Yes. They just like That's the problem. Is like it doesn't beat SMC. They just SMC before it. It was good into bin breakers, and by good I mean nobody played it. Oh, that's our 10 cost dice for 2 credits. That's fine. We're like guaranteed to lose on this run. Oh, okay. This is where like we're just sitting here and getting hammered and then hoping it works out. I'm not screaming. So this is the first interesting one because she knows the further that she spends on this, she's probably not getting it back. MK still kind of beat it because it installed first. Oh, fire all. Whoa, that's a lot of money. All the agendas up your sleeves, honestly, they're in the bottom 8 cards for R&D, and that is a fate worse than a lot of things on this board state. We actually probably do trash DJ Steve here, though. Why didn't we NAPD? We don't need it. We have Managar and border control, and she doesn't have a Fractor. We're going to keep it for our last agenda. Can Pelongi both BC and Rap? No, Pelongi's only once per turn. Oh, we have a Holloman. Oh, that's really good. I don't think that was tag punishment. That was a sleeper tag. It's been hanging out there for a minute. Self-growth program jam would be so good. Do you know what would be really cool? Tags. We betrayed our principles? Honestly, how things are going, I'm very surprised you're trying to guilt me about that one. Illegal activity? Come on. Things are not going well, and we're doing science. The forbidden button? But that's a fun button, right? Like clearing tag, cringe, trashing resource, dopamine. So much dopamine. Getting rid of 2 resources. Functionally. She's taunting us. She knows. She knows this is an illegal maneuver. You're doing it admirably, but what are we're not doing. We're just being. She's just gonna run R&D and win. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 7 points in 8 cards. We should just concede here after doing the maneuver. Do we trash this telework? We need to make her like spend a lot on this remote server and then just rebuild it. The problem is trick shot. We're probably going to get another burner, let's be honest, and that's going to like kind of goof us up. But we've only seen 2 trick shots, and you know how many they often play. Draw copy and agenda, but then what do we do? Install advance? Fuck. No. Spin install NPD? Why didn't we spin draw? We could have spin doed. That was the worst. She can't break Wrap twice off the BC, spin and jam. She has a Fractor. She just doesn't install it yet. Managarm R&D. Managarm R&D might be like the play. Like next turn, Holloman in the remote server is kind of sick because then next turn we can do install agenda, Holloman, Cordon. And like, I want to do that play because it is as cool as it sounds it is. But let's just do this. And then just eat a good old burner. How am I meant to play around burner? Install advanced cording should be enough. Oh, now with the simul chip, she can break barriers. Okay. Holloman on central to move it on a turn. Yeah. So with the Pelongi, she can do the... Okay, so think about this. Border control, she runs first click. She hyperbarics through it. She has 16 credits, so Managarm's useless. Pop-up window. Jua. Oh! Jua eats the simulchip Pelongi line. Aren't the bottom 2 non-agenda cards with since we Bernard? Yes. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, that's quite... Don't worry about that. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. That doesn't seem important. Yeah, that's probably not that important. You're right. It's in 4 cards. Jua gets bypassed again? Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Cordon, I think like probably. shame Vasilis has his tag on it, huh? I mean, if we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. We're going to lose off of this server. We're going to lose off of that server. One of these things is going to be the truth. We're going to lose off of one of these servers. The really hard thing is guessing which server are we going to lose to. Honestly, server 1 looks way worse. Telework? All right. Save us Gordon. I wouldn't count on that. Gordon is not that powerful. Why advance? Gordon. Because 2 credits is going to matter on this turn. This is such a bad server. Our Lincoln startup is crumbling against this hyperbaric after image Palangi. Yeah, I think it would be better to do like install Holloman. I don't know how we win. We can't win. We have ice. The style of deck, I feel like you have to bait at least 1 run during the game. Yeah, I agree, but the problem is we drew 1 agenda and 24 cards. Right? Like, she's at the point she knows she can sit back and do nothing, which, like, amen. Like, this is the least interesting memory. Mid-tempo? Mid-tempo. Wait. This wraparound is huge. She can't break Jua twice? Yeah, she can simulchip Palangi it. Oh, actually, maybe not. I don't know. You're right. It's going to get weird. She needs to, like, she can mess this up. I don't think it's enforced. Because now the Jua on the second time, if she, like, cycles the Palangi, the thing is, like, yeah, there's a chance. I think she can still get through this. So the pop-up window doesn't matter. Lol, pop-up window. So then this Jua matters. Wait, no, she can't simulchip. Oh, no, it hasn't fired yet. Oh, no, she's cooked now. She messed the timing up. Obviously, she hasn't gained anything. She can undo this. Yeah, she has to just simulchip before encountering. Then just let this fire. Oh, yeah. You can probably do something with simulchip. So she needs to simulchip, but you just got to do it. So if she, before the counter, goes for a Palangi. Choose remainder of turn, yeah, but it hasn't fired yet, right? Because she bypassed it. So if she does she flickers the Palangi before she gets in here. The thing is the Jua has to fire, and then it's us to pick Palangi hyperbaric. It actually might be tricky. The worst case is she just installs a fracture and runs. Like, let's be honest, that's not good for us. Uh-oh, that's highlighted in green. That means program's getting installed. That's an over MU highlight, right? No, but if she Palangis the Jewish, she can't Palangi the Wrap. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I don't think she Palangis this. She has to Palangi the Wrap, and then we have a choice. Oh, she's over installing. She has her pressure spike. So yeah, we lose. Jewel is almost good. Maybe she won't have 8 credits. Oh, wait. How close is it? No, she needs 6 credits. Is she like very, very close? We win with Managram card. I don't think we do. Wait, is pop-up window going to matter? They are poor. No, she's not that poor. Wait. Okay. Hold on. 6 plus 5? Yeah, you're right. She doesn't have enough money. It's close. Yo, for real, Gordon's kind of sick. The advance almost mattered. Uh-huh. You see, lean startup ice. Yeah, Gordon's been really good. All right. Oh, we got there. She is a couple credits short. 0 credits, triple advance. Good game. If she ran R&D, she probably wins. Good game. That was a close one. 16 blazing fast turns. Thanks for the game. Commissioner Corden. Commissioner Corden. Yeah, that was not going to be a good matchup. We drew really terribly. Managarm's good. Jew was annoying. Pop-up window. Just best ice. The deck is so cursed. We didn't put ice on the table. We didn't do anything. Oh man. The being able to break my 10 cost ice for 2 credits is definitely worrying on this side of the table. On this side of the table. I think Void should go back in. I don't know. Sub out. Yeah, it's pretty bad. You don't want res this for 10 and then she bypasses it for 2. Okay, let's run it back. I mean, like, Cord and Managarm seems good together. Yeah, I do think it's really good. I honestly, like, can you play Cord and Managarm in HB? A virus is what wins the game, yeah? What? Maybe the lack of tags is big enough. Well, we did destroy a resource. Let's not pretend we were perfect. Mav, Crisium, ship it? Oh my god, Crisium would have been so much better. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, and then we're going to run into viruses. Let's just put the Crisium and stop whining about trick shot. Let's just whine about burner instead. We have 1 slot for whatever. Name an ice. Like, if anything, we should drop the Crisium and just play tempo. Oh, 43 cards? Favorite card, Corden. Hey, Concord, let's go. Hey, Duckling, good game. See no problem with trick shot. Unrelated, I love playing. Oh no, our Crisiums. Yo, good game. If you ran R&D, if you have the money, you get in. There was like, you knew the bottom 2 cards of R&D, so did we. The next 4 cards in R&D, I think 2 or 3 of them were agendas. We did not draw any agendas. You didn't add the gate. We didn't add the gate. Hey, thanks, you too. Yeah, Concord is new. Thanks, you too. It didn't save? Maybe you did? I think we did, because we cut an ice, cut a card, and added and got to 44. This hand's good. We're going to make Ken find a Hydra. Goatee opening. I don't know what that means. Oh, pop-up window to stop the inside job. What are we putting on HQ? Hydra? Are we hydrating HQ? Are we hydrating HQ? Or are we just doing double pop-up window centrals? I want Hydra on the remote with pop-up. Change the E to an S. You got a stew. Hedge pop-up central. Okay, I'm going to pop the centrals. We're playing Netrunner like it's 2013. Event's good until Kenna turns out. Our text boxes makes dramatic conflict. This is good. This is what all fiction needs, right? 2 opposing forces. They have their own goals, their own methods, but they're at odds. This is really important to make a narrative. It's called the Adventurous Circle or some shit. You see, Concord's over here and he's like, I got a 3-cost card that I'm hoping to install. I also can't, a successful run trigger into unres dice is like really dicey because it's very likely this ends the run. Is it even better when you score BCP versus Ken and R+? London, I'm not, I'm not doing it. Yeah, this is super bold. It's like discount Thule versus Essa. That matchup is so messed up. Shout out to NSG for making that an option. It's like weird. It's like that 60-60 matchup. The good old Steve Cambridge versus Scorpios. I can't believe this run event went through. That's on us for not putting a Hydra on R&D turn 1. All right, Cat's Cradle. Oh crap, our pop-up window's gonna cost 1? Wait, no, it's no good. It's so aggressively balanced. Shit. That's fine. We've been ruined. Our deck has some code gates in it. Now we can pay 1 for the pop-up window. I'm kidding. It's fine. Like the pop-up window is not the thing. I This is not what is expected to come down early. Again, I said this before. You generally don't want to rush breakers onto the table. Pop-up should be mythic, but it's like a 4 credit swing, but there's only one of it. Yeah, Concord's a newer player. I'm not sure from what meta, but I know that he's looking for people locally to play. So we're probably going to see maybe a card pool closer to gateway update, that sort of stuff. But, breakers are down. So this is what I mean. Like, don't install your breakers early. So Concord, this is for the VOD, right? If you're watching this, because you've now just committed 5 credits to the table, putting you at no money. Doesn't matter that you can break ice. Oh, I see why you did it. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's gonna work out for you, turns out. Unless, so this is what I mean. Oh my god, that was jump scare to the perfect solution to this problem. So now that you're in no credits, like you're spending credits on cards that only work firstly when you have money, and now you're gonna struggle to play your economy cards. So the idea is like, if we pay 5 credits on these cards, they don't generate money, they require money. And so locking your liquidity down to these cards is going to be a problem. Because next turn, unless you have a Carpe Diem, which would be pretty rad. Transatlantic meta. This is cinema? Yeah. So he saw this. He's like, oh, I need another card. And like, yeah, we're going to get rid of these with the Spin Doctor next turn. We'll probably like Spin Doctor draw Yodel. I think that lets us discard cards. I'm not very good at Spin Doctor math until it's happening. Hey, Nanako the cat. It's all coming together. He had it. He gains 4. We gain 2. He can run HQ right now. That'd be kind of fun. Bye, Nanako the cat. Surely they send it. Oh my. This is the fun timeline. We have perfectly safe 2 installed runner cards. Now it's Concord's choice which of the cards he wants to install again. This means, I hope more than anything, that he touches the degree mill. So classically, NBN's ice is like really, really annoying to face check into. Not so much in Ismari, but anything that cares about tags because of, oh, we paid 1 for that? Yeah, that's fine. Because like all this stuff gives you tags and tags kind of suck. Losing our Spin Doctor would be the worst case? Yeah, that's for the tension. There's a payoff. This is the Act 2, right? Or like kind of the end of Act 1. Where there's some training, there's some tension. The chat dots come across. And this is where like, you know, the protagonist's journey begins. So now he has a goal, right? The degree mill in her hand behind 2 ice, none of which end the run. But a defensive 5-3. Okay. Second run event, going into the pop-up window here. So this makes this Dirty Laundry a 2 credit card. One thing as a newer player is a lot of newer players really overvalue just seeing random cards on the top of R&D. The thing is like, it's really hard. If you just see every random card on the top of R&D, how many cards do you think you need to see to have a 50% chance of winning the game? The answer is 17. That's not affordable. Now, obviously the degree mills are a difference here, but generally like running HQ at certain times when the corporation is scoring out, like you want to do that a lot more. So like here, this was gain 2 credits to see the top card of R&D. Turns off Ken, like Ken's already fired this turn. You're probably better here like establishing your economy and drawing up. Usually. Because the idea is if you found a trashable, can you afford to trash it? The answer is probably not. I think we're just going to draw once more and Yodel. And then next turn, we're going to build a remote server with Hydro whenever we draw. So if we draw, we go to 8. Yodel, we go to 7. And we can just discard 2 degree mills. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Our money's good for a bit. Not that we're not going to get an event every turn. Random card from R&D is more enticing than random card from HQ. Yes, it is. And it's a bit of a thing that I think specifically new players fall to. Card of R&D is new every turn. Card from HQ sometimes not new. But promise you, like, Imagine we didn't have a spin doctor here. We have drawn through 13 cards in our deck. That means on average there's about 2.5 agendas in our hand. And you know they're there because of the way numbers work on average. The top card of R&D is almost always 1 in 5. And can you basically, if it's 1 in 5, can you spend 10 credits to get an agenda at 5 clicks? Usually not. Most new players aren't able to glean better information from HQ versus R&D card. Yeah. No, I hear it. And it's just something to point out, right? Like it happens a lot. Now here you're assuming that there's agendas and archives. We actually don't have to shuffle these back if you run archives, right? Like this is what I mean. Like this buy bans on archives forces us to shuffle the spin doctor. And also if you're tracking here, which is really difficult as like a newer player, is you're pretty sure that we might have up to 3 points, even 6 points, probably 3 points in archives. So now trying to find an agenda in R&D when there's 6 points less in RNG is really difficult. So whenever there's a spin doctor on the table and there's face down cards in archives, then it makes just enough sense that there could be agendas in archives. You always want to run archives first before R&D. Just to get these 6 points back into R&D. Obviously, like you need to install a card with a buy bans, which is what he's going to do. More breakers. Ooh, stole 2 points. But variable schedule rewards? Yeah! Hey, we should make a mobile game, actually. All right. Carmen breaks Hydra for too much money to worry about. Just steal off the top of R&D. Like it happens and it feels really good. And I think that's the sort of thing that incentivizes this behavior. Apologies, Concord, if you're watching this, I'm talking about you like you are a lab rat. I don't intend that to be the case. Turn 2, 3 3-point agendas from R&D could happen. Yeah, but it doesn't. It generally doesn't, right? That's like a, what are you, D? What is this, the World Lower Finals? The points in the bin HUD from Cyberfeed is really nice. I'm gonna have to J now in Firefox. It's really great, Quita. I highly recommend it. This reminder text. The runner doesn't see this, obviously. The purple highlight is a JNet thing that was added in one of the last updates. I like that a lot too. Not everyone can be as lucky as D. Hey, Croy, who said anything about luck? All right, so ideally Rashida draws into an agenda. We can even do like Holloman. No, probably not Holloman agenda, but at least agenda. We probably don't even have a chord in here. We're playing around 3 inside jobs, but with 3 credits, we're not worried about these breakers. If Concord misses the track, what are we? I guess pop-up? Luck is a skill? Good, yes. Luck is a stat. Luck is a skill. Like Fallout gaming. All right, again. We're just hoping the top of R&D works out. We've been making a lot of money. Like each of these runs gives us 3 credits, right? Because it's a run event and then pop-up windows text. And again, there's 6 points out of the game. If Concord rips another 2-pointer here, we're going to be pretty upset about it. But like, this shouldn't work. Okay. The runner sees it face up has been useful for Stargates. I couldn't steal our trash. Turn, remember they're still there. Oh yeah, if they're face up, the runner will see them. Yeah, if you know there's points in archives, it will remind you. That's funny too. If this pop-up window ended the run, we might not see this play pattern. And this play pattern is actually good for us. That we're Concord spending so many clicks, like just checking the top card of R&D. Right now, there's only 10 points and 29 cards. Making your own luck matters. I pretty strongly believe early runs are underrated in high-level Netrunner. I think the game is so fast in some matchups that you can't afford to make early runs, unless like you're Dirty Laundry or Hoshiko. Okay, cool. This is the legwork. Let's see the whole hand. Now, when we have a spin doctor and a remote server with 2 ice, it's actually not likely that there's an agenda in here. This is cool because it sees the whole hand, that's for sure. But this is really expensive, right? This is a 4 credit run, plus this 2 credits. But the idea is like, if we had an agenda in hand, would we discard it? Or would it go into the remote server? We might have 1 in hand. But with Spin Doctor, we discarded 2 cards. And the more that you get play patterns familiar with Spin Doctor, generally if they're discarding 2 cards, it's probably like an agenda fix. Agree with D for some runners, because early steal turns up the pressure on the corp. Yeah, like, I guess if you're playing a deep dive deck, doing early points is really, really important. But I feel like it's some matchups, it's so hard to make central runs unless it's like Hoshiko Flip or Dirty Laundry or, I don't know. Holloman, none of these can be trashed. If I don't have a tag, I won't know which wash cycle to use. Hey, Bloody Mud. Don't worry, we'll give 1 tag. We have 1 tag giving, I think, in this whole deck. No, actually, that's not true. We have Hydras. Just put it on cold. Just cold. Delicate cold. You'll be fine. Note to self, play Mercury. Oh no. Gen advantage is huge, especially against bacterial decks. Yes. Well, against your P deck, do you steal an early Fuji? The game is kind of not good for the corp. I do think a part of what makes Oshiko strong as Incident Blacks is yes. Encourages you to just touch cards on turn 1. A lot of other runners have so much more work to do. Do we want to stop the party on R&D? I feel like I want to stop the party on R&D. We'll just put Holloman in the remote server. We're doing pretty good. We lose to Border Boomerang Inside Job, I guess. Let's just stop the fun. We could draw once here. Okay. Because we don't need to play a hedge fund. Carmen breaks Hydra for 7? You don't have to break all of it. You can break it for 6 and just take a tag. Well, we have 6 points in archives. We care about the party. I don't care about the party, but we can put another card in there eventually. Party's over. Probably time to shuffle back agendas, lest they all end up in the bottom 8. Like, I played so many games as Lat where I was controlling the whole ag matchup. I stole the bacterial at the wrong time, and because I didn't have agenda advantage, the game just kind of ends. That's the bacterial problem, though. Like, I think that is true about bacterial, and I do think I like running down ag when they can't res early ice. I think once they res the early ice, like, and then ag is online, obviously things are a bit more difficult. But yeah, bacterial just, like, locks the whole deck. Bacterial is super frustrating. The worst thing Conqueror could do now is click for 4. Yeah, maybe like Bravado R&D does the same thing, but yeah, ending on 7 credits would be the worst case, but oh man, there's still 6 points in archives. So now 2, 4, 10, there's only 8 points in 24 cards. So there's 4 agendas in 24. It's a 1 in 6 shot. We don't mind 1 in 6s, right? This is kind of click for 4, yeah, kind of. Inside Job actually gets through this. We would have to like throw the border control item, which like we could do. Yeah, if Concord clears the spin, it actually changes the game so much. We have to get the second ice on RD, which we can, and we can res it. He can't really afford to get through a mess chest over and over again. But like shuffling spin doctor is a really, really big thing, forcing the spin shuffle. Okay, cool. So now it's up to us to decide what we want to do here. The border control will end the run. If we res the Hydra, I think he can break it, right? Because it's 2-2, so it's 2-4, and then he can break all of it if he wants. So we'll just res this. Inside Job doesn't work here, runner's poor. Yes. Inside Job boomerang works. So we know that the Fractor's in hand. He hasn't drawn that much. And so we can tell the hand is like Fractor and then 2 unknown cards. Oh, he's on 7. Oh no. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is miserable. The money is all gone. Now we don't have a jam line here, which is pretty bad. So we're just going to go and ice up this because we actually do need to draw cards to win. Yeah, that's the major oof. That's the worst case oof. I know. Yeah, that lined up real awkwardly. Real awkwardly. Shuffle back the Gendies. I don't want to score a degree mill. I think we're going to wait and try and score out the off-world office. We definitely could score at the degree mill. But I think we're going to see more pressure on Centrals than I expect. So managing where the agendas are, I think is probably better for us. Can't believe people call you community sweetheart. I think I've been talking about Concord like he's a test rat. So we might lose that status sooner than later. There's money somewhere in this deck. Yeah, you just got to draw it. Just draw. Click for credit's fine. You need to. But like this is where these like value runs where I'm going to see a single card while gaining like 2 credits. Okay, click for 4. Move the Hollow into another server. No, he's good. All right, let's draw for an agenda. Okay, if we put the Mana Garm in there, it might bait a run, which like probably is going to happen on 4 credits, but if the inside job happens on a remote server, what happened? Awkward, such an awkward word to spell. I think I did it wrong. Is it it's AWKW, right? That's really weird. This is the VOD where everyone learns how mean Andre is. I know. I played PE last week. I had a great time. I don't want to just hedge fund. I think I'm just going to set up. I feel like nothing really is happening. We have to res this for 10, this for 5. So we have a bit of pad. We can just play a bit more padding. A diversion of funds coming through, how bad would it be? Generally, Concord's going to be spending it's just about as much as we are. So I'm going to say disrespect. We don't need to protect ourselves. Rod Watcher, sign my petition to ban Audrey from JNet. I'll just make a Smurf account like I normally do, and we'll be back up next week. You can't shut this down. Nobody tell Jonas I said that. All right. So we need to see what sort of like long econ he has, right? We're assuming there's a Mystic Miami in here, or some sort of way to get more like economy passively, right? Slow economy, as Shoeflower would call it. So like daily cast is fine. I'll be surprised to see it. What's her name would be really good? Debbie Downtown Maria is really good in Ken decks. A prepaid voice pad would be fine. Mr. Miami would be good. But these are the sort of cards that you want to find sooner than later, just because it makes all these run events a lot better. It gains an extra credit a turn, and a credit a turn goes pretty far. A Maverick 2 coming to a JNet server near you. Oh, I need to get that account before someone else does. Hey, actually, I'll be right back. There you go. That's something. No. Okay, now it's getting annoying. The same thing is happening. The bad thing is happening. The Seravma. I think we can just put another ice on here and then say the Spin Doctor is going to solve our problem next turn. Actually, we can just res the Spin Doctor. I'm just going to shuffle back Rashida Hedge Fund, I guess. Rashida Yodel. Just to res the Spin Doctor, because if we draw an agenda, we can jam it in here. We didn't. But we can put the Rashida in there. We'll keep the Yodel. Another Hydra lines up pretty good. Message Chest was actually really annoying against Cat's Cradle. It's actually better than Message Espo. An Endless Eula is... all this ice is really good into this Breaker Suite. I don't think we need Seamless Launch when we have Holloman, unless it gets pinholed, I guess. Let's just do that event. Is this like the tag purge before UK Nats? Yeah, I want to show the UK Nats players it's possible to play NBN without tags, right? Someone will watch this and be like, new venue? New NBN, new venue. We can do it. They won't do well at the tournament probably, but not for lack of trying. This curse deck is on its way to undefeated on JNet status. We are not on the way to drawing an agenda. That's the worst part. The big youth pastor energy. If I put my glasses on, I do Ned Flanders pretty hard. Who's not exactly a youth pastor. But I know what you mean. We don't need to have tags to have a good time. We're gonna Flanderize NBN. Yo, we're going in. Okay, so the question is, if we drew this aggressively with Spin Doctor and we had an agenda, where would we put it? Now, we could have drawn two agendas with Spin Doctor, but if we're Spin Doctoring like this, the abstract idea is that we're looking for something to put in the remote server, right? Because if we had an agenda, we'd put it in the remote server. So unless it's all good. Unless we have drawn two agendas with Spin Doctor at once, which we could have discarded one, maybe. Unless that's the case, this run is very unlikely to find an agenda, if that's our goal, to find an agenda. If it's possible for FFG to pick up ADR again, Netrunner, David Chin, Wayun, how's it going? Like start doing Netrunner stuff again? I wouldn't say it's impossible. I don't think they're interested in. It's really difficult to some extent. I don't think they have a real good incentive to do that. But I don't know. I'm not them. That sounds condescending. I don't mean it like that. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think any of their LCGs, like, besides the cooperative ones, are doing well for them. In a lot of ways, Jesus was kind of the first sis up. Hey, Pod. I've been playing Tagless NBN the whole time. King making Asmari. Yeah, that's a cool deck. So here we can draw to multiple agendas. And we did. Are we going to do the mean one? I think we're going to do the mean one. So let's do the mean one. Server 2 for mean. I mean, strictly correct to Yodel first, but will we? And then we'll just do this for padding. We'll throw out the planogram. Actually, no, the planogram is worth keeping because we just value a card drop on in. Whatever. Too bad. Now that Wizard is trademark, Netrunner trademark is expired. I don't know about any of that trademark stuff, what is expired and what is not. Netrunner belongs to a lot of different people, right? Like some of Netrunner is WotC, some of it is Talsorian, some of it is, it's like a whole bunch of different people, but I don't think there's a big incentive to do it. I love that you were like not playing any cards with tags, so you left out cards that mention the word tag and then give them 4 cards that actually gives tags. Which ones? This one? This one you don't need to. Because he killed all the LCGs besides the co-op ones. I think that undersells that it's really hard to keep a competitive LCG that has like monthly releases balanced and playable, particularly even like during I don't know, pandemic and stuff like that. Actually, he might be able to get in the remote server. Did we get complacent? No, I don't think we got complacent. Oh, this Hydra's gonna do something. Yeah, this Hydra's gonna do something. Oops. He actually can steal his crypto crash, if I'm not mistaken. We got complacent. That's on us. We might have to crack the board control. I don't know why they would make the investment after a lot of effort and quickly having abandoned it because of Wizards. Yeah, it's not in their best interest too. It seemed very expensive. Obviously, if they couldn't get to a licensing agreement there, I don't know. Like right now, they're working on Star Wars Unlimited. I think that's probably doing good enough for them. Fire all? 2-4. You can break one subroutine. Like in theory, you can get through this. If he doesn't want to, that's fine. But he can get through this. You're gonna crack a board control here, right? So he can't boost Kuru? I don't think we care. Breaking is not worth. It is. It's 2 points. Now he doesn't know that. But if he breaks it, he can double click through the Managarm. No, he went down to 1 credit. Yeah, respect. 3 Gordons. I did forget we are like that. Lose your 1 credit. I mean, he'll regret that as soon as you score the artificial. So if we jam the off-world, he has to credit. No, he has daily cast. He runs through border control, boomerangs through Hydra. Pays for the Managarm. I don't think we're in a rush. 1 credit, it's fine. Got him. Got him. I think we'll just put this on server 2. Again, Glacier or whatever. What if FFG turned ADR into Star Wars Unlimited CCG format? Like original Netrunner was in the 90s? I think it's really, really hard. It looks like it's very difficult modernly to make a successful collectible card game unless you're attached to a very well-known and respected license. I think Flesh and Blood's the only game modernly with any sort of CCG success in the last 5 years that is not attached to a known massive thing like Star Wars or Disney or an anime or property or something like that. So I wouldn't expect it. Both 3-pointers and archives, we'll shuffle them back after this. Balancing a competitive card game requires a level of effort FFG have repeatedly demonstrated their interest in community too. I think that undersells FFG. I think FFG had issues with balance and when it came to releases, that's for sure. But I think it undersells a lot of people who tried really hard there. I mean, like, I'm just gonna... Oh, we actually shouldn't have advanced. We should have Holloman. It would have been way cooler. We can afford to do it. How about Pokemon? What? Hey, I think that's the coolest thing. So the guy from Ristic Studies, I think his name is Sam, put out this article talking about like, you know, the whole issue with external outside APs kind of ruining Magic, to use such blunt terms. But his idea that Pokemon TCG is like obviously one of the most successful card games of all time, and they've never put anything on a card that's not Pokemon, is like such a cool, you know, kind of rallying point. Someone who works in the industry, yeah, the only reason that many of the newer games have any hold is the franchises, yes. More now so than ever, unfortunately. Like everything is just franchise. Arkham is a competitive card game if you're type A enough. D, that's not even true. D is like doing the monthly Arkham challenge and they're like really trying at it. And now they're gonna be at the world's finals. I don't think so. I don't think competitive Arkham is a real thing. Excuse you, Professor Oak is not a Pokemon? I think he might be. I think the potions are too. I don't know what energy is. That didn't show up in the game. Justice for Mr. Mime. I mean, if you look at how much resource Wizards needs to run MTG, that's probably the scale of what competitive TCG upkeep looks like. Yeah, for sure. For sure. For what it's worth, though, Wizards does put out a lot of products. I think that's part of the problem. Like, you could scale down that operation a fair bit, but it's not like you need to put anything non-Pokemon into Pokemon. The IP is a drug for kids. I've never played a game of Pokemon, and I collected Pokemon cards back in the day. I didn't know how it worked. I was in 3rd grade. Pokemon holds because they managed to keep a comp level deck under $100. That's the thing with Lorcana I can't believe. It's like, I thought Lorcana was meant to be the people's like game, and it's like Lorcana decks are still like $1,000 because of, you know, that sort of thing. I think at least for Pokemon TCG, there seems to be less outcry with the newest versions of Charizard power creeps than previous ones. I wonder if Concord's like trying to play under the crypto crash, which like, yeah, rightfully so. I'm going to play Corden every turn until we win. That's our game plan. Play Corden every turn until we win. So we can draw once for an agenda. Okay, so we just put Rashida. Okay, so the Corden plan is off the track. We're going to score 8 to 9 points to win this game. WotC is good at having consistent, predictable release schedule, which I feel like FFG historically hasn't been amazing at. FFG was really good at it back in the day. FFG every month had a product. Like, that's a shit ton of work. Now, obviously, like the balance and testing all happened way before that. And that was a really cool part about Netrunner when I got into Netrunner. It's like every month the meta changed because every month 20 new cards came out. Like, that's kind of wild to think about that. Obviously, for us, the meta every year we get a new release if we're lucky. And then we have like balance changes that like shake things up. But it used to be every month. And that's a weird thing to live through if you just got into Netrunner right now. Do you think Nisei can grow ANR to the scale that was under FFG? David, yeah. Firstly, so Nisei goes by Null Signal Games often right now. So NSG, if you hear that term, that's what we're usually talking about, the old like Project Nisei name. I think right now they probably have made it bigger in a lot of ways. It's a hard of a metric because obviously like Null Signal Games cards in stores doesn't happen. It's not like in every Toys R Us. I don't know if that's actually accurate back in the day. Toys R Us is different in Canada. But like they've been making the game, putting out the game, supporting Netrunner for longer now than FFG has. And like they've had world championships that are like bigger. They do more, maybe more organized play. It's hard to say. There's more of a player base back then, but I've no doubt it's including, it's continuing to increase. So yeah, 100% they can. The problem is like availability to stuff. Like the audience, the eyes on Netrunner are smaller right now because they're not in all card stores, all game stores. I do think in the future, there's a chance that that's going to be bigger again once NSG next year is not having any product that is FFG reprints, which I think causes some tension. I remember trying to teach my parents how to play Pokemon and play with them. I probably had no idea how it actually worked. Yeah, they probably just like made up the rules that made sense for you, which makes it the best game you've ever played. Nothing gets to me not to care about your game more than franchising. Yeah, sorry, and I hear you. Anyways, the new Marvel Champions hero that came out today looks really cool. Now with that starting to pay people, I sort of hear you, but also Toronto, I don't know. I kind of can fight against it. I think it's really interesting that like this thing is as big as it is and nobody's really taking home money. Like from what I've talked to people from Null Signal Games, that's kind of one of the things that makes this exactly what it is and as good as it is. So this could be bad for us because we have a lot of points in 13 cards. I hate this deck. She looks fun attack. Yeah, Maria Hill looks sick. Maria Hill looks generally good. I'm not a big Marvel guy, but Marvel Champions is just like one of my favorite card games. It's just really fun. Maddie just said I'm a Marvel guy in the other room. I don't think she's right about that. She says you are. The problem with such rapid products, wallet fatigue is one issue, and then there's frequently balance issues from stuff coming out needing to be alluring. Yep. Next year when the EU store is fixed, right? Right? I hope so. I'm like super sympathetic about the European store because obviously like Null Signal Games is doing a lot to try and fix it. It obviously seems incredibly cursed. And for European players, I'm real sorry. It looks terrible. There's no way around that. Nobody wants it to be that way. NSG doesn't, you don't, for sure. Obviously it'll be repaired at some point. It's certainly my preferred co-op card game, champs. Yo, hey, I picked up Earthborn Rangers. I beat Earthborn Rangers with my brother-in-law like months ago, and then I picked it up to play solo. I'm having a good time. I'm just vibing. That game's kind of cool. NSG has been getting more inconsistent though. Yeah, it has. It's been slow. I think everyone wants it to be a bit faster, and that's from someone who doesn't put in any effort. I'm not part of NSG, so easy for me to say that. I do think there's a chance, like, I don't know. I'd rather have the thing come out when it's ready, but I do think for the health of the game, if the releases were faster, it would be better probably for casual audience. Does this deck run TH for the FA win, or is there too much tags? What's TH? The Holloman? This guy? Yes. Wait, what's TH though? I don't know. I think new printing of Earthborn coming December. Been waiting to get it. Yeah, I'm on that too. I'm on that train too. I got the expansion. It's not coming in December, right? There's no way. We would have heard more updates. Is that a bad sign? No. What? The release schedule being slower? It's not a bad sign. I know, like, for the last release, the set, they've gone through like changes of some people in certain parts of the structure, so it's difficult. I think this one coming up, Dawn, is a really hard one to get right, so I'm glad that they're doing, you know, whatever testing they think is necessary. No, sorry, you can stay, bud. Okay, we found it. Install. We get to do the cool thing. All right, this cost 8 credits to steal. 8 credits to steal. Dawn's gonna be huge. Not surprising. It's delayed. Oh, yeah. Like when Dawn was announced at Worlds last year, it seemed like a surprise to a lot of people. Like, what? Dawn next year? And then I know. And like, this is not pessimism. I'm like, it's probably gonna be delayed. Like most NSG releases have been delayed, and I want to be very clear. I'm not saying that with any amount of snark. Like, good, yeah, delay them. Sure, if you want to delay them because you need to delay them, delay them. It's better than anything else. But like, yeah, of course, Dawn is not gonna come out when it was announced. Gordon for Prez. So R&D costs 4 credits. Everywhere costs 4 credits. R&D, how many points are in R&D? There's only 2 agendas in R&D. No. Yeah. 1 3-pointer and 1 tomorrow's headline. I mean, reprinting base game, I thought more were available starting December. I thought the Kickstarter said like the new expansion and everything was meant to be in December. Like the whatever the new expansion is. The cave stuff. And she's been getting more consistent. I feel Ashes to Gateway to MS was a mess, but it's getting much better. Yeah, they've been getting very much better at what they were doing. Like Ashes was Ashes. It's the way it is because it was their first set, and there's a lot of learnings to that, but also like it was a great first set. It really was. And the first set has to be a certain way to get people to have buy-in, right? Like it's both a safe set and also a safe set. Then like I think System Gateway is incredible. I think the Boreal Cycle slaps. I think I'm a big fan of TAI. RWR is not my favorite NSG set. I think it's a weird set too. Second sets are kind of strange, but also there is the middle of change of leadership of game design stuff from my understanding. So that can get weird. But yeah, I'm assuming Dawn will be akin to Gateway type stuff. I mean, from release schedule, I don't know if I was saying it's getting better. It feels the same to me. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anytime I look at like, when's the last time this came out, it's always like a bit longer than I thought it'd be. Someone say releases will sick promos to fill down time has been my soapbox topic when it comes to LCGs. I take it you've never seen an FFG promo for I've never seen how I don't know how FFG does their promos for Marvel Champions, but it seems terrible. This costs 5 credits. So this run, it's very easy to miss the NAP coordinate. This run on R&D has no impact for stealing agendas because every agenda on R&D costs 4 credits. You might as well bounce off the message chest and lose 3. It's cheaper. Right? It's easy to miss this thing because it's a lockdown and it goes to this zone and it doesn't like scream. It should scream. It should actively make annoying noises. Because it's so easy to miss this. I hope our opponent didn't. I think System Gateway 70% great, 20% push, 10% forgettable. I would say 80% great. Okay, 70% pushed, right? No, 80% great, 20% pushed. 5%? Whatever adds up to 5% forgettable. What did I miss? Brennan. Oh my God. I did a backflip. Like literally, I figured out how to do a backflip. And it was mostly chat encouraging me. They're like, I think you can do this. I said, I don't feel safe. And they're like, no, you can do it. We play the Decklist of the week. nailed it in one. And then we've been experimenting with NBN that has no tags in it. Don't look at some of the ice. Damn it. No, it's sick. It was sick. It was sick. But we all said we'd only do it once. I love that Marvel Champ promos are done. I think they're typically cool, but by no means what I mean. Yeah, no, they're the worst. They're the worst. I think underrated forgettables because we forgot them. I can name every card in System Gateway. You want to play a game after this? I'll name every single card in System Gateway. Maddie just said doubt. Wait, you don't think I can do it? Oh my god. Okay, we're playing a game. I'm going to name every single card in System Gateway. You want to play this game? I'm so surprised Maddie is encouraging me to do a silly stunt at 11:47. She's usually like, I need to go to bed. Hey, GG. The backflip's being removed from the VOD. Yeah, it was very not safe. Like, you should not do this. Thanks, you too. Did you get the backflip lessons from Man in the Moon? No, I don't know why that means something, but command show hand. Boomerang deep dive. Oh, whoa, I wouldn't have seen that coming. Inside job. Oh, it was a deep dive deck. Sick. Shooting for the deep dive. It was a hand sense of turn one. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Yeah. So specifically for your deep dive deck, you really just want to sit back and generate economy and make money in a way that makes sense instead of like spending, 2 credits to get a single access. When your multi-access to 4 to run all central servers is so good, you really want to just build to that instead of like going for central runs that like, cost you 3 credits to see 1 card. I would have been totally caught off guard. You have to do in the style of the poker rap? According to Twitch guidelines, it's been auto-scrubbed. Yeah, that makes sense. I have every FFG and NSG release. Is there any reason I should get the NFG revised core? No, if you own every FFG card, the revised core is just FFG cards revised. Some of them have new art, but there's no new cards in the FFG revised core. It's a neat core, for sure. But it's just new art. There's no new products in the revised core. It's all cards from the first, 2 cycles, I think, and the original core set. Hey, thanks again. I ran through the corp cards and it's like 15% truly unplayable. Okay. I hope Concord, firstly, newer player, welcome to the game. And if you watch the replay, there's a fair bit to learn. Ballistics is Jai, you're spoiling my game. Okay, how do I get a notepad exe? Okay, hold on. Notepad exe. How do I add window capture? Is anyone gonna have, no, I probably need an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Sporkle is a quiz that lets you type in all the System Gateway cards. Oh, Sophie, do you have a link? That's sick. Also, Sophie, how's it going? It gives too many hints? Shit, I want no hints. Okay, I'm just going to do it on my own because I can do it. Hold on. I'm going to do full screen capture. This is the gaming we all want. How bad does this look? We can do it, right? All right, we'll start with corporation. Okay, easy. I have a spreadsheet to mark you off. Okay, sorry about the flashbang. Okay, we'll start with HB, right? Precision design. There's 77 cards in System Gateway. 2 of them are Syndicate and the Catalyst. Let's just get out of the way. I'm not going to name the Syndicate and the Catalyst, but there's 75 other cards. Precision design. Then we get Luminal. I'll do all the agendas. Tomorrow's headline. Longevity. Blah, blah, blah. Then the agendas are Off-World, Office, Orbital. Whatever, I'm not spelling them right. Vibes. Send a message and then superconducting. Good. Neutral assets. All the assets are Urtica Cipher, Clearinghouse. Does NBN have an asset? Oh yeah, Spin Doctor. Nico Campaign. Regolith. There's, I think, 43 core cards. Okay, so that's agendas. That's all the assets, unless I'm forgetting some. Ice is easy. There's 5 barriers. Brawn, Palisade, Pharos, Ping. There's 4. Cogates, my least favorite part. Funhouse, Diviner. There's less of these. And then White Space. Sentries, there's 4. Tithe, Oncel, Ballista, and Karuna. Upgrades. Every faction has one. Amaze Amusements. Managarm. Void. and Malapare Data Vault. That's only 29 cards. Oh, operations, hedge fund. Okay. We have Seamless and Sprint. Then you have Public Trail and Planogram. Wayland has GovSub and Retribution. NBN has, we've done that. So Jindeki has Hansei and Neurospike. What am I missing? Sparkle Quiz does have card type info. Yeah, that's way too easy. The order you're doing this is sending me. Nah, DD, it's structure now. It's structure now. It's structure now. 38 cards. Am I missing something? Non-HP. Oh, IDs. Non-HP IDs. Yeah, sick. So obviously R+. I built the last and RH. That's 41 cards. I think that's all, right? Trillion, it ate your link. It ate your link. Am I missing anything? If I am, then generally there's garbage. We'll just say the syndicate to make sure that this adds up. PD was the top one. 41 corp cards, correct. Oh, he's cooking. Runner's gonna be way harder. I'll be honest. So let's just get all the IDs out of the way. Let's do the stuff I know I can do. Dao. Zaya. For $1 name a woman. Lou. Okay. Next. Oh, this is gonna be way harder. I don't know. I know Corp so much better because I've been working on a video. Maddie said you said all of them. Catalyst. Great. Okay. So programs. I'm just gonna do programs. I'm gonna do all the breakers. There's 2 of each typed breaker and then 1 generic. So Mayfly is the generic. Then the barriers are Cleaver and Marjana, spelled somewhat like that. Then there's Buzzsaw and Unity, Echelon, and Carmen. Okay. Then every faction has support pieces. So Anarch has access to Botulus and Leech. There might be one more. Criminal has Sleepy Snake, Tranquilizer. What else do they have? For $1 name a woman. Yeah, for $1 name a woman's funny. Uh-oh, this is a question mark. What would they give a criminal? A program? You'd give a criminal a program? That's a question mark. We'll just leave a hole here. We'll come back to that. Okay. Shaper has Conduit. Oh boy. All right. Consoles. We have Pantograph. We have Penny's Haver. And we have Carnivore. Then we have DZMZ. Criminal has... Uh-oh. I told you Runner would be harder. Okay. Anarch has... Is there hardware? Okay. Cookbook. Red Team. Telework. I'm falling apart. I have no order. There's no structure. Let's do some events. Oh, this is bad. This is getting bad. I'm doing a good job though, please. We'll do doing system update cards. That's not right. So what do you do for card draw? You have VRcation, and then in some formats you have Creative Commission. Not like that. Center cannot hold. Criminal has... What's that one where you make a run and things cost 3 more? Card that makes things cost 3 more with Surveyor on it. I swear if you write that, it works on Gordian Blade. So you should be able to do that. Tread Lightly. It's Concord. Thank you. Oh my god. Huge. Good game, by the way. Tread Lightly. There should be 2 events. Then it's Wildcat Strike for Anarch. And then the other Anarch event would be... That's only a half point? Yeah, I'm fine with that. No, come on. If I didn't read chat, I would have got that eventually. A Wildcat Strike. Oh, I'm just looking at all the Anarch events and they're all broken as other stuff. Okay. Memory Diamond. Verbal Plasticity. I don't know the name of the card where you sell stuff from a van. Got a big one, programs. Oh, I'm aware. The program is part I'm not feeling great about. Selling stuff, smartware. Thank you, Concourse. Concourse is getting all my half points. How many are we at? We're at 42 plus 32? 74? We're only missing a couple. Taco Truck. Taco Truck would have been full points, right? Shit, programs. Leech, Botulus, really good. Tranquilizer. What would you put in a criminal deck? 6 to go? Yeah, crap. And these are not bad cards I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting resources, I'm forgetting programs. I'm forgetting one Anarch event. Oh, this is, I'm gonna kick myself. Can't remember everything offhand. It's structured though. Everything is like in parity. It's like there's an even amount of everything. I think I'm missing one. Damn. At 42, skip 3 lines. Every card you forgot sees competitive play. That is the best thing. That like I can tell you the weird crap. But like seamless launch, no shot. Good criminal cards. Chesva's not in System Gateway, of course it's not. Sneak Doors system update. Oh man, I don't know. Give me like I'll cash out in 2 minutes. Let me just stew in my uncomfortableness. Shaper has to have a utility program. Yeah, I thought Chesva. Chesva seems like a System Gateway card. Good card. Criminal, what's blue? I'm unreasonably invested in this. You and I both, Jai. So what's the Anarch event? Wildcat Strike. What's the criminal event? Tread lightly. There's 2 gaps here, right? There's a criminal event and an Anarch event. Not inside job. There's no forge. There's no archives effects. The reason why you run in System Gateways, you have Leech, you have Buzzsaw, you have Cleaver, you have Leech, you have Botulus to cheat the big stuff. There's no killer in Anarch. Hint Iron. No, that's wasted on me. Let's get money involved. The hardware slot's also painful. I'm definitely missing hardware. There must be like DZ. Where's my DZ section? There has to be criminal hardware too. The only MU card is Memory Diamond and DZMZ. 1 more minute. This is gonna hurt. Yeah, we passed over a couple. I know the slots were missing. I just can't think of what they are, but they're probably playable cards. Waken Plant, no. Oh, Dawkins Pass, sick. That's a good one. That is a criminal hardware. Let's just knock that in here. You're missing the event is sending me? Yeah, I know. It's not Carpe Diem. It's obviously not Diversion. Criminal event. It doesn't draw cards. Passed over? No, that subliminal didn't work. The event? I can't think of the event, and that's a problem. Huh. There's no bypass tools, right? Oh, Jailbreak. Jailbreak's in here. There's a neutral event. Oh, Sure Gamble. F off. You think I'm not getting Sure Gamble in here? Yeah, nice try. Okay, never mind. Please, this is easy. I got there. If that's the one we're thinking of. I still am missing a couple though. What's our numbers at? Ignore the question marks. So we're at 42 plus 34, which is 76. We're missing 1 card and 2 question marks. Yeah, Creeper is to me a card from the Sansan cycle. Yeah, you have 3 left. Still missing a neutral event? Oh, Overclock. Thank you. Yeah, that was huge. Yeah, I have to remember there's always way more neutral events in System Gateway than you think it is because deck building's hard. So one of these is Overclock? Mr. Metropole, you could have saved her. I gave you all the clues. 34 plus Syndicate. I wrote down Syndicate. I did not write Syndicate. No, I didn't write Syndicate. Oh, I did here. Okay, well, whatever. I could have saved her? Is that Jailbreak? 36 plus 41? 77. Okay, so I'm assuming I'm missing a criminal event. Maybe a criminal program. ULO Catalyst? Yeah, and I wrote Syndicate. Catalyst I wrote somewhere else, I'm assuming. But they counted the 77. 77 counts Catalyst and Syndicate. I wrote Catalyst up here. I wrote Syndicate. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, so it was right. It's a reference to the snowman. Oh, man, I don't know what that means. Is there a snow-based card? Is there an ice card? Ice card? I don't exclusively support my friends. I'm going to throw the towel in. What am I missing? I think I'm missing 2 cards, and I'm going to kick myself. Chat, would you like to have the honor of telling me the 2 cards I can't think of? Fermenter, god damn it. Fuck. Yeah, that hurts. Yeah, we got overclock. Mutual favor. Ah, sick. The cards I missed were like good cards. Like, I think I did this just to prove that I know the bad cards in System Gateway, and I couldn't tell you the 2 staples. That's fine. Thank you. Mutual favor, of course. Of course. I was thinking a criminal card draw card. I'm like, there's no way it's a card draw card. It's not. It's a tutor card. And then Fermenter, yeah, that makes sense. Because there's a bunch of just viruses. Because you get Fermenter and you get Botulus, I think, in the booster pack that you add to Syndicate. I think we did good. I'll take that. This is easy. This I could bet good money I can do all of these because I've been working on a video for way too long. But Runner is the next one. System Gate was good. System Gate was so good. Okay, wait. Now let's break this into busted, pushed, and unplayable, okay? How easy is the color code in this program? I don't like that much. Background color. Is there a shortcut to this? Okay. Bold. Oops. Bold. Busted. 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 Ha. Busted. Busted. Ha. Pretty good. Ha. 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 Busted. Ha. Busted. Busted. Ha. No. But probably is. Yes. 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 Not good card. Amazing card. Not good. No, fine. Fine. Sorry. Fine. Not good. Fine. I think good. Busted. Busted. Okay. Whatever. Busted. Very good. Busted. Good enough. Like, I think the cards that are unplayable in this list are super, super low. And there's a lot of stuff that's really, 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 really good. Karuna finds a call. Karuna finds a call. I stand by my standing 2010. Now on the runner side, it's worse. There's a lot of less playable runner cards, I'd guess. Overclock, arguably busted. Oh, whatever, I'll say it. No. Yeah, fine. No, banned. No. Good card. No. Good card. Good card. Good card. Huh. Good card. Good card. I wouldn't say it's busted. Good card, not busted. Good card. Busted. Busted. Good. Busted. Busted. Much lower. Clearinghouse is 1 more worlds than Bravado. Yeah. Yeah, Jeff was doing some stats. There's some really funny things that win worlds. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Jeff ran the stats. The only deck that was running Spree at worlds won worlds. The only deck that was running Spree won 100% win rate at worlds. I can't believe there's a time Echelon was bad. I don't know if there was ever the time that Echelon was bad. Mutual probably deserves a busted because it single-handedly changes the shapes of Crim Breaker Suites. It does, but it feels fair, right? Like, you're right. It allows Criminal to exist, but it feels fair. It doesn't feel like a wild thing, but you're totally right. It's such a pivotal card in the whole entire format. Echelon's bad, no SMH. It's just that damn drafter. What do they do about that drafter? Thanks for playing this game with me. Really fun. I honestly genuinely really like Netrunner trivia. I probably should answer because I haven't looked at the D put up a bunch of really cool questions, like these kind of like puzzles on the wall at Worlds, and I haven't done them. I might make a video where I just show you what they are and try and do them myself off stream at some point because they seem really fun, and I think people like Netrunner trivia. A lot of dorks here playing this game, huh? What makes Echelon so good? It seems so plain on the surface. The idea is that if the game goes to the mid to long game, you have a 4-strength breaker, sentry breaker. That's just kind of good. Over a long enough period of time, it becomes the best sentry breaker with very minimal effort. Didn't people play Special Offer? Oh yeah, 3 of. But Special Offer back in the day was actually more important than Mutual Favor, but that's because the game had a stronger incentive to get your right breaker on turn 1 as soon as possible. So like it was very common, click 1, run HQ, click 2, Special Offer, click 3, install breaker, click 4, count siphon. Like that happened. But the unsuccessful run of trigger on Criminal was like so busted that just getting it as soon as possible was the most important thing. We should like the stream. Thank you, Kuiwa. 3 install 3-strength breaker is just really good. Yeah, seems pretty good. Special order. Yeah, not Special Offer. That's a different one. And then there's express delivery. Mimic is balanced around by not being boostable at all. People still run it. Yeah, Mimic was a staple card back in the day. Like common, sub, etc. Yeah. Hit me up. Thanks so much for hanging out. I don't know. I'm really hoping we get a video out by Monday because damn, have we been idling, doing very little in a way that looks like that. It's my sister's birthday this weekend, so there's gonna be some celebrating, that's for sure. I gotta make a cake. Thanks so much for hanging out. It's a fun Thursday. Had a great week streaming. Honestly, some really good streams. If you want to take a second to like the stream, it does really help the channel. Honestly, it's very easy. Otherwise, if you want to support this channel monetarily, if it makes sense, we're supported on Patreon. And all these names here and many more names as well help support the channel so we can afford to put the time in to do things like this, stream on Tuesday afternoons, put together video content, stuff like that. Yo, Cody, thanks for streaming. Thanks for dropping by. It's greatly appreciated. We also have daily cast patrons. Their names don't show up here. There's lots of them. It's a very approachable tier, I hope. And you can find all that link below in the Patreon. This weekend, hopefully there's a lot of Netrunner to watch. Again, Ramu's YouTube channel will be streaming at a new location. Make sure you know this if you're going to UK Nationals, the new location this weekend, UK Nationals. It starts as soon as tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, with COS. I'm pretty sure that's what their schedule said. And if that's not streamed, for sure, Standard and Top Cut will be streamed. That's this whole weekend. Otherwise, we'll be back hopefully with a video soon, and not Tuesday. We'll be back. Gotta catch you live. Thanks again. Keep the great work. Thank you, Concord. Thanks for the game. You can watch through it in the VOD. I think later on in the game, we got a bit lost talking about CCGs and stuff like that. But at the beginning, I think we talked a lot about like some strategy stuff. Fun catching you live. We'll probably try and snipe one of your alphabet decks and sneak some games the next day off. Thanks for all the great content. Bloody Mud, thanks so much for the kind words. Glad that you've been, the content's been finding you well. Canberra CO's True Hype. Is that coming up? If you're down in Canberra, or as they call it. I actually don't know what they call Canberra. There's probably a cool name like Norm. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.